Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention. A kingdom for a stage, princes to act, and monarchs to behold the swelling scene. Then should warlike Harry, like himself, assume the port of Mars, and at his heels, leashed in like hounds, should famine, sword, and fire crouch for employment. But pardon, and gentles all, the flat unraised spirits that have dared on this unworthy scaffold to bring forth so great an object. Can this cockpit hold the vasty fields of France? Or may we cram within this wooden O the very casks that did affright the air at Agincourt? Oh, pardon, since a crooked figure may attest in little place a million, and let us, ciphers to this great account, on your imaginary forces work.
Suppose within the girdle of these walls are now confined two mighty monarchies, whose high uprated abutting fronts the perilous narrow ocean parts asunder. Piece out our imperfections with your thoughts. Into 1,000 parts divide one man and make imaginary puissance. Think when we talk of horses, that you see them, printing their proud hoofs in the receiving earth. For 'tis your thoughts that now must deck our kings, carry them here and there, jumping o'er times, turning the accomplishment of many years into an hourglass. For the which supply admit me chorus to this history, who, prologue like your humble patience pray, gently to hear, kindly to judge our play.
My lord, I'll tell you that self-bill is urged, which in the 7th year of the last king's reign was like, and had indeed against us passed, but that the scrambling and unquiet time did push it out of farther question.
But how, my lord, shall we resist it now?
It must be thought on. If it pass against us, we lose the better half of our possession. For all the temporal lands which men devout by testament have given to the church would they strip from us, being valued thus as much as would maintain to the king's honor full 15 earls, and 1,500 knights, 6,200 good esquires, and to relief of Lazar's and weak age, of indignant and faint souls past corporal toil.
100 almshouses right well supplied, and to the coffers of the king beside 1,000 pounds by the year. Thus runs the bill.
This will drink deep.
'Twould drink the cup and all.
With one prevention.
The king is full of grace and fair regard,
And a true love of the Holy Church. Viraya, viraya.
The courses of his youth promised it not. The breath no sooner left his father's body, but that his wildness, mortified in him, seemed to die too. Yea, at that very moment, consideration like an angel came and whipped the offending Adam out of him, leaving his body as a paradise to envelop and contain celestial spirits. Never was such a sudden scholar made. Never came reformation in a flood with such heady carence, scouring faults, nor never hydra-headed wilfulness so soon did lose his seat, and all at once, as in this king.
We are blessed in the change.
Hear him but reason in divinity, and all admiring with an inward wish, you would desire the king were made a prelate. Hear him debate of commonwealth affairs, you would say it hath been all in all his study. List his discourse of war, and you shall hear a fearful battle rendered you in music. Turn him to any cause of policy, the Gordian knot of it he will unloose. Familiar as his garter, that, when he speaks, the air, a chartered libertine, is still, and the mute wonder lurketh in men's ears to steal his sweet and honeyed sentences. So that the art and practice of life must be the mistress to this Theoric.
which is a wonder how his grace should glean it, since his addiction was to courses vain. His companies unlettered, rude and shallow, his hours filled up with riots, banquets, sports, and never noted in him any study, any retirement, any sequestration, from open haunts and popularity. The strawberry grows underneath the nettle, and wholesome berries thrive and ripen best neighbored by fruit of baser quality. And so the prince obscured his contemplation under the veil of wildness, which no doubt grew like the summer grass, fastest by night, unseen, yet crescive in his faculty. It must be so, for miracles are ceased, and therefore we must needs admit the means how things are perfected.
But my good lord, how now for mitigation of this bill, urged by the commons? Doth his majesty incline it, or no?
He seems indifferent, or rather swaying more upon our part than cherishing the exhibitors against us. For I have made an offer to his majesty upon our spiritual convocation, and in regard of causes now at hand, which I have opened to his grace at large, as touching France, to give a greater sum than ever at one time the clergy yet did to his predecessors part withal.
How did this offer seem received, my lord?
With good acceptance of his majesty, save that there was not time enough to hear, as I perceived his grace would fain have done, the severals and unhidden passages of his true titles to some certain dukedoms, and generally to the crown and seat of France, derived from Edward, his great-grandfather.
What was the impediment that broke this off? The French ambassador upon that instant craved audience, and the hour, I think, is come to give him hearing. Is it 4 o'clock? It is. Then go we in, to know his embassy, which I could with a ready guess declare before the Frenchmen speak a word of it. I'll wait upon you, and I long to hear it. Where is my gracious lord of Canterbury? Not here in presence. Send for him, good uncle. Shall we call the ambassador, my liege? Not yet, my cousin. We would be resolved before we hear him of some things of weight that task our thoughts concerning us and France. God and his angels guard your sacred throne and make you long become it.
Sure, we thank you. My learned lord, we pray you to proceed and justly and religiously unfold why the law saileth that they have in France or should not bar us in our claim. And God forbid, my dear and faithful lord, that you should fashion rest or bow your reading, or nicely charge your understanding soul with opening titles miscreate, whose right suits not in native colours with the truth. For God doth know how many now in health shall drop their blood in approbation of what your reverence shall incite us to. Therefore take heed how you impawn our person, how you awake our sleeping sword of war. We charge you in the name of God, take heed, for never to such kingdoms did contend without much fall of blood, whose guiltless drops are every one a woe, a sore complaint against him whose wrongs gives edge unto the swords that make such waste in brief mortality.
Under this conjuration, speak, my lord, for we will hear, note, and believe in heart that what you speak is in your conscience washed as pure as sin with baptism. Then hear me, gracious sovereign, and you peers that owe yourselves, your lives, and services to this imperial throne. There is no bar to make against your highness's claim to France, but this, which they produce from Pharamond. In terram salicum mulieris ne succedant. No woman shall succeed in Salique land, which Salique land the French unjustly glows to be the realm of France, and Pharamond the founder of this law and female bar. Yes. Yet their own authors faithfully affirm that the land Salique is in Germany, between the floods of Salah and of Elbe.
Where Charles the Great, having subdued the Saxons, there left behind and settled certain French, who holding in disdain the German women for some dishonest manner of their life, established then this law, to wit, no female should be inheritrix in Salic land, which Salic, as I said, twixt Elbe and Salah, is at this day in Germany called Myset. Then doth it well appear the Salic law was not devised for the realm of France, nor did the French possess the Salic land until 421 years after defunction of King Pharamond, idly supposed the founder of this law, who died within the year of our redemption, 426, and Charles the Great subdued the Saxons and did seat the French beyond the river Sala in the year 805.
Besides, their writers say, King Pepin, which deposed Kilderic, did as heir general, being descended of Blithild, which was daughter to King Clothair, make claim and title to the crown of France. Hugh Capet also, who usurped the crown of Charles the Duke of Lorraine, sole heir male of the true line and stock of Charles the Great, to find his title with some shows of truth, though in pure truth it was corrupt and naught, conveyed himself as heir to the Lady Lingar, daughter to Charlemagne, who was the son to Louis the Emperor, and Louis the son of Charles the Great. Also King Louis the Tenth, who was sole heir to the usurper Capet, could not keep quiet in his conscience, wearing the crown of France, till satisfied that fair Queen Isabel, his grandmother, was lineal of the Lady Ermengarde, daughter to Charles the foresaid Duke of Lorraine.
By the which marriage the line of Charles the Great was reunited to the crown of France, so that, as clear as the summer's sun, King Pepin's title and Hugh Capet's claim, King Louis's satisfaction all appear to hold the right and title of the female. So do the kings of France unto this day. Howbeit, they would not hold up this Salic law to bar your highness claiming from the female, and rather choose to hide them in a net, than apply their crooked titles, usurped from you and your progeny. May I with right and conscience make the sin upon my head, dread sovereign, for in the book of Numbers it is writ, when the man dies, let the inheritance descend unto the daughter.
Gracious Lord, stand for your own. Unwind your bloody flag. Look back into your mighty ancestors. Go, my dread Lord, to your great-grandsire's tomb from whom you claim. Invoke his warlike spirit and your great uncle's, Edward the Black Prince, who on the French ground played a tragedy, making defeat on the full power of France, whilst his most mighty father on a hill stood smiling to behold his lion's whelp, forged in blood of French nobility. O noble English, that could entertain with half their forces the full pride of France, and let another half stand laughing by, all out of work and cold for action. Awake, remembrance of these valiant dead, and with their puissant arm renew their feats. You are their heir, you sit upon their throne.
The blood and courage that renowned them runs in your veins, and my thrice puissant liege is in the very May morn of his youth, ripe for exploits and mighty enterprises. Your brother kings and monarchs of the earth do all expect that you should rouse yourself, as did the former lions of your blood. They know your grace hath cause, and means, and might. So hath your highness. Never king of England had nobles richer and more loyal subjects, whose hearts have left their bodies here in England and lie pavilioned in the fields of France. O let their bodies follow, my dear liege, with blood and sword and fire to win your right, in aid whereof we, of the spirituality, will raise your highness such a mighty sum as never did the clergy at one time bring in to any of your ancestors.
We must not only arm to invade the French, but lay down our proportions to defend against the Scot, who will make road upon us with all advantages. Day of those marches, gracious sovereign, shall be a wall sufficient to defend our inland from the pilfering borderers. We do not mean the coursing snatchers only, but fear the main intendment of the Scot, who hath been still a giddy neighbour to us, For you shall read that my great-grandfather never went with his forces into France, but that the Scot on his unfurnished kingdom came pouring like the tide into a breach with ample and brim fullness of his force, galling the gleaned land with hot assays, girding with grievous siege castles and towns, that England, being empty of defence, hath shook and trembled at the ill neighbourhood.
He hath been, then, more feared than harmed, my liege, for hear her but exampled by herself. When all her chivalry hath been in France, and she, a mourning widow of hers, she hath herself not only well defended, but taken and impounded as a stray the King of Scots, whom she did send to France to fill King Edward's fame with prisoner kings, and make her chronicle as rich with praise as is the ooze and bottom of the sea with sunken wreck and sunless treasuries. There's a saying, very old and true, if trust you will France win, then with Scotland first begin. For once the eagle England, being in prey, to her unguarded nest the weasel Scot comes sneaking, and so sucks her princely eggs, playing the mouse in absence of the cat, to tear and havoc more than she can eat.
It follows then the cat must stay at home, yet that is but a crushed necessity. Since we have locks to safeguard necessaries, and pretty taps to catch the petty thieves, while that the armed hand doth fight abroad, the advised head defends itself at home. For government, though high and low and lower put into parts, doth keep in one consent, congreeing in a full and natural close, like music. Therefore doth heaven divide the state of man in divers functions, setting endeavour in continual motion, to which is fixed, as an aim or butt, obedience. For so work the honeybees, creatures that by a rule in nature teach the act of order to a peopled kingdom.
Officers of sorts, or some, like magistrates, correct at home, others, like merchants, venture trade abroad, others, like soldiers, armed in their stings, make boot upon the summer's velvet buds, which pillage they with merry march bring home to the tent royale of their emperor, who, busied in his majesty, surveys the singing masons building roofs of gold, the civil citizens kneading up the honey, the poor mechanic porters crowding in, their heavy burdens at his narrow gate, the sad-eyed justice, the surly hum, delivering o'er to executors pale, the lazy yawning drone. I this infer, that many things, having full reference to one consent, may work continuously.
As many arrows, lucid several ways, come to one mark, as many ways meet in one town, as many fresh streams meet in one salt sea, as many lines close in the dial's center, so may 1,000 actions once afoot end in one purpose, and be all well borne without defeat. Therefore, to France, my liege, divide your happy England into 4, whereof take you 1 quarter into France, and you withal shall make all Gallia shake. If we, with thrice such powers left at home, cannot defend our own doors from the dog, let us be worried and our nation lose the name of hardiness and policy.
Now are we well resolved, and by God's help, and yours, the noble sinews of our power, France being ours, will bend it to our awe, or break it all to pieces. Or there will sit, ruling in a large and ample empery over France and all her almost kingly dukedoms. Or lay these bones in an unworthy urn, tombless with no remembrance over them. Either our history shall with full mouth speak freely of our acts, or else our graves, like Turkish mute, shall have a tongueless mouth, not worshipped with a waxen epitaph. Now are we well prepared to know the pleasure of our fair cousin Dauphin, for we hear your greeting is from him, not the king.
May it please your majesty to give us leave, freely to render what we have in charge. Or shall we show you sparingly what we have far off, the Dauphin's meaning in our embassy?
We are no tyrant, but a Christian king, under whose grace our passion is his subject, as are our wretches fettered in our prisons. Therefore, with a frank uncurved plainness. Tell us the Dauphin's mind. Thus then in few, Your Highness, lately sending into France, did claim certain dukedoms in the name of your predecessor King Edward III. In answer to your claim, the Prince our master says that you savour your youth too much, and bid you be advised that there is naught in France that can be with a nimble galliot one. You cannot revel into the dukedoms then. He therefore sends you meter for your spirit, this ton of treasure, and in lieu of this, desires that the dukedoms that you claim hear no more of you. This, the Dauphin speaks.
What treasure, uncle?
Tennis balls, my liege.
We are glad the Dauphin is so pleasant with us. His present and your pains we thank you for. When we have marched our rackets to these balls, we will, in France, by God's grace, play a set shall strike his father's crown into the hazard. Tell him he hath made a match with such a wrangler that all the courts of France will be disturbed with chases. And we understand him well, how he comes o'er us with our wilder days, not measuring what use we made of them. We never valued this poor seat of England, and therefore living hence to give ourself to barbarous license, as 'tis ever common that men are merriest when they are from home. But tell the Dauphin I will keep my state, be like a king, and show my sail of greatness, when I do rouse me in my throne of France.
For that I have laid by my majesty, and plotted like a man for working days. But I will rise there with so full of glory, that I will dazzle all the eyes of France. Yea, strike the Dauphin blind to look on us, and tell the pleasant prince this mock of his hath turned his balls to gunstones, and his soul shall stand sore charged for the wasteful vengeance that shall fly with them. For many 1,000 widows shall this his mock out of their dear husbands, mock mothers from their sons, mock castles down, and some are yet ungotten and unborn, that shall have cause to curse the Dauphin's scorn. But this lies all within the will of God, to whom I do appeal, and in whose name tell you, the Dauphin, I am coming on, to venge me as I may, and to put forth my rightful hand in a well-hallowed cause.
So get you hence in peace, and tell the Dauphin his jest will savour but of shallow wit, when thousands weep more than did laugh at it. Convey them with safe conduct. Fare you well.
This was a merry message.
We hope to make the sender blush at it. Therefore, my lords, omit no happy hour that may give furtherance to our expedition. For we have now no thought in us but France, save those to God that run before our business. Therefore, let our proportions for these wars be soon collected, and all things thought upon that may with reasonable swiftness add more feathers to our wings. For God before, we'll chide this Dauphin at his father's door. Therefore, let every man now task his thought, that this fair action may on foot be brought.
Now all the youth of England are on fire, and silken dalliance in the wardrobe lies. Now thrive the armorers, and honor's thought reigns solely in the breast of every man. They sell the pasture now to buy the horse, following the mirror of all Christian kings, with winged heels as English Mercuries. For now sits expectation in the air, and hides a sword from hilt unto point, with crowns imperial, crowns and coronets for Harry and his followers. The French, advised by good intelligence of this most dreadful preparation, shake with fear.
Sacre bleu!
And with pale policy seek to divert the English purposes. O England, model to thy inward greatness, like a little body with a mighty heart. What mightst thou do? What honor would thee do, were all thy children kind and natural?
But see thy fault. France hath in thee found out a nest of hollow bosoms,
which he fills with treacherous crowns and 3 corrupted men. One, Richard, Earl of Cambridge, and the second, Henry Lord Scroop of Marsham, and the third, Sir Thomas Grey, Knight of Northumberland, have for the guilt of France, guilt indeed, confirmed conspiracy with fearful France, and by their hands this grace of kings must die, if hell and treason hold their promises, ere he take ship for France, and in Southampton... Linger your patience on, and we'll digest the abuse of distance, force a play. The sum is paid, the traitors are agreed, the king is set from London, and the scene is now transported, gentles, to Southampton. There is the playhouse now, there must you sit, and thence to France shall we convey you safe, and bring you back, charming the narrow seas, to give you gentle pass, for if we may, we'll not offend one stomach with our play. But till the king come forth, and not till then, unto Southampton do we shift our scene.
Enter Corporal Nim and Lieutenant Bardolph. Well met, Corporal Nim. Good morrow, Lieutenant Bardolph. What, our ancient pistol and you friends yet? For my part, I care not. I say little, but when time shall serve, there shall be smiles. But that shall be as it may. I dare not fight, but I will wink and hold out mine iron. It is a simple one, but what though? It will toast cheese, and it will endure cold as another man's sword will, and there's an end. I will bestow a breakfast to make you friends, and will all 3 sworn brothers to France. Let it be so, good Corporal Nim.
Faith, I will live so long as I may. That's the certain of it. And when I cannot live any longer, I will do as I may. That is my rest. That is the rendezvous of it.
It is certain, Corporal, that he is married to Nell Quickly, and certainly she did you wrong, for you wath troth plight to her.
I cannot tell. Things must be as they may. Men may sleep, and they may have their throats about them at that time. And some say, knives have edges. It must be as it may. Though Patience be a tired mare, yet she will plod. There must be conclusions. Well, I cannot tell. Here comes ancient pistol and wife. Good corporal, be patient here. How now, mine host pistol? Base tyke. Call'st thou me host? Now by this hand, I swear, I scorn the term, nor shall my Nell keep lodgers. No, by my troth, not long, for we cannot lodge and board 12 or 14 gentle women that live honestly by the prick of their needles, but it will be thought we keep our bawdy house straight. Oh, well-a-day, lady, if he be not drawn now, we shall be wilful adultery and murder committed.
Good lieutenant, good corporal, offer nothing here. Pish.
Pish for thee, Iceland dog, thou prick-eared cur of Iceland, ha!
Good Corporal Nim, show thy valor and put up your sword. Will you, Shoggoth? I would have you Solus.
Solus, egregious dog? O viper vile! The solace in thy most marvellous face, the solace in thy teeth, and in thy throat, ha! And in thy hateful lungs, yea, and in thy maw purdy, and which is worse, within thy nasty mouth. I do retort the solace in thy bowels, for I can take, and pistol's cock is up, ha! And flashing fire will follow.
I am not Barbazon. You cannot conjure me. I have an humor to knock you indifferently well. If you grow foul with me, pistol, I will scour you with my rapier as I may, in fair terms. If you would walk off, I would prick your guts a little, in good terms as I may, and that's the humor of it.
O braggart vile and damned furious wight, the grave doth gape, and doting death is near. Therefore exhale.
Hear me what I say. He that strikes the first stroke, I'll run him up to the hilts, as I am a soldier.
Give me thy fist, thy forefoot to me give. Thy spirits are most tall. I will cut thy throat one time or other in fair terms. That is the humour of it. Couple of gorge! That is the word. I thee defy again. O hound of Crete, thinkest thou my spouse to get? No, to the spittle go, and from the powdering tub of infamy fetch forth Lazarkite of Cressid's kind, Doll Tearsheet she by name, and her espouse. I have, and I will hold, the quondam quickly, for the only she, and pacaw! There's enough. Go to.
Hold the pistol. You must come to my master and your hostess. He is very sick and would to bed. Goodbye, laugh. Put that face between his sheets and do the office of a warming pan. Face she's very ill.
Away, you rogue.
Oh, by my troth, he'll yield the crow a pudding one of these days. The king has killed his heart. Good husband, come home presently.
Come, shall I make you two friends? We must to France together. Why the devil should we keep knives to cut one another's throats? Let flood o'erswell and fiends for food howl on. You'll pay me the 8 shillings I won of you at betting? Base is the slave that pays. That now I will have, that's the humour of it. As manhood shall compound, push home.
By this sword, he that makes the first thrust, I'll kill him. By this sword I will. Sword is an oath, and oaths must have their course. Corporal Nym, and thou out be friends? Be friends, and thou wilt not? Why then, be enemies with thee too. Prithee, put up. I shall have my 8 shillings I won of you at betting. A noble shalt have, and present pay. And liquor likewise I will give it to thee. And friendship shall combine, and brotherhood. I'll live by Nym, and Nym will live by me. Is this not just? For I shall sutler be unto the camp, and profits will accrue. Give me thy hand, and I shall have my noble in cash most justly paid. Well, that's the humour of
it. If as ever you came of women, come in quickly to Sir John. Ah, poor heart, he is so shaked of a burning quotidian tertian, it is most lamentable to behold. Sweet men, come to him. The king hath run bad humours on the night, that's the even of it. Nym, thou hast spoke the right. His heart is fracted and corroborate. The king is a good king, but it must be as it may. He passes some humours and careers. Let us condole the night, for, lambkins, we will live. For God his grace is bold to trust these traitors. Well, they shall be apprehended by and by. Huh? How smooth and even they do bear themselves, as if allegiance in their bosom sat, crowned with faith and constant loyalty. Well, the king hath note of all that they intend, by interception which they dream not of.
Nay, but the man that was his bedfellow, whom he hath dulled and cloyed with gracious favours, that he should, for a foreign purse, so sell his sovereign's life to death and treachery.
Now sits the wind fair.
And we will aboard. My Lord of Cambridge, and my kind Lord of Masham. And you, my gentle knight, give me your thoughts. Think you not that the powers we bear with us will cut their passage through the force of France, doing the execution and the act for which we have in head assembled them? No doubt, my liege. I doubt not that, since we are well persuaded. We carry not a heart with us from hence that grows not in fair consent with ours, nor leave not one behind that doth not wish success and conquest to attend on us.
Never was monarch better feared and loved than is your majesty. There's not, I think, a subject that sits in hot grief and uneasiness under the sweet shade of your government. True, those that were your father's enemies have steeped their galls in honey, and do serve you with hearts create of duty and of zeal. We therefore have great cause of thankfulness, and shall forget the office of our hand sooner than quittance of desert and merit, according to the weight and worthiness. So service shall with steel sinews toil, and labor shall refresh itself with hope, to do your grace incessant services. We judge no less. Uncle of Exeter, enlarge the man committed yesterday that railed against our person. We consider it was excess of wine that set him on, and on his more advice, we pardon him.
That's mercy, but too much security. Let him be punished, sovereign, lest example breed by his sufferance more of such a kind.
Oh, let us be merciful.
And so may your highness, and yet punish too.
Sir, you show great mercy if you give him life, after the taste of much correction.
Alas, your too much love and care of me are heavy orisons against this poor wretch. If little faults proceeding on distemper shall not be winked at, how shall we stretch our eye when capital crimes, chewed, swallowed, and digested, appear before us? We'll yet enlarge that man, though Cambridge, Scroop, and Grey, in their dear care and tender preservation of our person, would have him punished. And now to our French causes. Who are the late commissioners?
I won, my lord. Your highness bade me ask for it today.
So did you me, my liege.
And I, my royal sovereign.
Then, Richard Earl of Cambridge, there is yours. They're yours, Lord Scroop of Masham, and Sir Knight, Grey of Northumberland, this same is yours. Read them, and I know your worthiness. My Lord of Westmoreland and Uncle Exeter, we will aboard tonight. Why, what see you in, how now, gentlemen? What see you in those papers that you lose so much complexion? Look you how they change, the cheeks are paper. Why, what read you there that have so cowarded and chased your blood out of appearance?
I do confess my fault, and do submit me to your highness's mercy.
To which we all appeal. The mercy that was quick in us but late, by your own counsel is suppressed and killed. You must not dare for shame talk of mercy, for your own reasons turn into your bosoms as dogs upon their masters, worrying you.
See you, my princes and my noble peers, these English monsters? My Lord of Cambridge here. You know how apt our love was to accord to furnish him with all appurtenances belonging to his honour, and this man hath for a few light crowns lightly conspired and sworn unto the practices of France to kill us here in Hampton. To the which this knight, no less for bounty bound to us than Cambridge is, has likewise sworn. But oh, what shall I say to thee, Lord Scroop, thou cruel, ingrateful, savage, and inhuman creature? Thou that didst bear the key of all my counsels, that knewest the very bottom of my soul, that almost might have coined me into gold, wouldst thou have practised on me for thy use? May it be possible that foreign hire could out of thee extract one spark of evil that might annoy my finger?
'Tis so strange that though the truth of it stands off as gross, as black and white, my eye will scarcely see it. Treason and murder, ever kept together as two yoked devils sworn to either's purpose, working so closely in a natural cause that admiration did not whoop at them. But thou, against all proportion, didst bring in wonder to wait on treason and on murder, and whatsoever cunning fiend it was that wrought upon thee so preposterously hath got the voice in hell for excellence. All other devils that suggest by treasons do botch and bungle up damnation with patches, colors, and with forms being fetched from glistering semblances of piety. But he that tempered thee bade thee stand up, gave thee no semblance that thou shouldst do treason, unless to dub thee with the name of traitor.
That same demon that hath gulled thee thus should with his lion gait walk the whole world, he might return to vasty Tartar back and tell the legions, I can never win a soul so easily as this Englishman's. Oh, hast thou with jealousy infected the sweetest affiance? Show men dutiful? Why, so didst thou. Seem they grave and learned? Why, so didst thou. Come they of noble family? Why, so didst thou. Seem they religious? Why, so didst thou. Or are they spare in diet, free from gross passion or of mirth or anger, constant in spirit, not swerving with the blood, garnished and decked in modest compliment, not working with the eye without the ear, but in perjured judgment, trusting neither? Such and so finely bolted didst thou seem.
And thus thy fall hath left a kind of blot, to mark the full-fraught man and best endued with some suspicion. I will weep for thee. For this revolt of thine, methinks, is like another fall of man. Their faults are open, arrest them to the answer of the law, and God acquit them of their practices. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Richard, Earl of Cambridge. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Henry Lord Scroop of Masham. I arrest thee of high treason by the name of Thomas Grey, Knight of Northumberland. Our purposes God justly hath discovered, and I repent my fault more than my death, which I beseech your highness to forgive, although my body pay the price of it.
For me the gold of France did not seduce, although I did admit it as a motive the sooner to effect what I intended. But God be thanked for prevention, which I in sufferance heartily will rejoice, beseeching God and you to pardon me. Never did faithful subject more rejoice at the discovery of most dangerous treason than I do at this hour, joy o'er myself, prevented from a damned enterprise. My fault, but not my body, pardon, sovereign. God quit you in his mercy, hear your sentence. You have conspired against our royal person, joined with an enemy proclaimed, and from his coffers received the golden earnest of our death, wherein you would have sold your king to slaughter, his princes and his peers to servitude, his subjects to oppression and contempt, and his whole kingdom into desolation.
Touching our person, seek we no revenge, but we our kingdom's safety must so tender, whose ruin you have sought, that to her laws we do deliver you. Get you therefore hence, poor miserable wretches, to your death, the taste whereof God of his mercy give you patience to endure, and true repentance of all your dear offenses. Bear them hence.
Now, lords, for France, the enterprise whereof shall be to you, as us, like glorious. We doubt not of a fair and lucky war, since God so graciously hath brought to light this dangerous treason lurking in our way, to hinder our beginnings. We doubt not now, but every rub is smoothed on our way. Then forth, dear countrymen, let us deliver our puissance into the hand of God, putting it straight in expedition, cheerly to see the signs of war advance. No king of England, if not of France!
Prithee, honey sweet husband, let me bring thee to Staines.
No, for my manly heart doth yearn. Bardolph, be blithe. Nym, rouse thy vaunting veins. Boy, bristle thy courage up, for Falstaff, he is dead, and we must yearn therefore.
Would I were with him, wheresoe'er he is, either in heaven or hell.
Nay, sure he's not in hell. He's in Arthur's bosom, made a finer end, and went away and had been any chrisom child, aparted even just between 12 and 1, even at the turning of the tide. For after I saw him fumble with the sheets and play with flowers, and smile upon his fingers' ends, I knew there was but one way, for his nose was as sharp as a pen, and a dabbled of green fields.
How now, Sir John, quoth I. What, man, be of good cheer. So I cried out, God, 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 3 or 4 times. Now I, to comfort him, bid him I should not think of God. I hoped there was no need to trouble himself with any such thoughts yet. So I bade me lay more clothes on his feet. I put my hand into the bed and felt them, and they were as cold as any stone. Then I felt to his knees, and they were as cold as any stone. And so upward, and all was cold as any stone. They say he cried out of sack. Aye, that I did. I love women. Nay, that I did not. Yes, that I did, and said they were devils incarnate. I never could abide carnation. 'Twas a colour I never liked.
I said once the devil would have him about women.
I did in some sort indeed handle women, but then he was rheumatic and talked of the whore of Babylon.
Do you not remember? I saw a flea stick upon Bardolph's nose, and I said it was a black soul burning in hell fire.
Well, the fuel is gone that maintained that fire. That's all the riches I got in his service.
Shall we song? The king will be gone from Southampton.
Let's away. My love, give me thy lips. Look to my chattels and my movables. Let senses rule. The word is pitch and pay. Trust none.
For oaths are straws, men's faiths are wafer cakes, and hold fast is the only dog, my duck.
Quack.
Therefore, Calvato be thy counsellor. Go clear thy crystals. Yoke fellows in arms, let us to France, like horse leechers, my boys, to suck, the very blood to suck.
And that's but unwholesome food, they say.
Touch her soft mouth and march.
Farewell, hostess.
Let housewifery appear. Keep close, I thee command.
Farewell and adieu.
Thus comes the English with full power upon us, and more than carefully it us concerns to answer royally in our defences. Therefore, the Dukes of Berry and of Bretagne and Brabant and of Orleans shall make forth.
And you, Prince Dauphin, with all swift dispatch, to line and new repair our towns of war with men of courage and with means of defendant. For England and his approaches makes as fierce as waters to the sucking of a gulf. then to be as provident as fear may teach us out of late examples, left by the fatal and neglected English upon our fields. My most redoubted father, it is most meet we arm us 'gainst the foe, for peace itself should not so dull a kingdom, though war nor no known quarrel were in question, but that defences, musters, preparations should be maintained, assembled, and collected, as were a war in expectation.
Therefore, I say, 'tis meet we all go forth to view the sick and feeble parts of France, and let us do it with no show of fear, no, with no more than if we heard that England were busied with the Whitsun morris dance. For, my good liege, she is so idly kinged, her sceptre so fantastically borne, by a vain, giddy, shallow, humorous youth, that fear attends her not. Oh, peace, Prince Dauphin, you are too much mistaken in this king. Question your grace the late ambassadors, with what great state he heard their embassy, how well supplied with noble counsellors, how modest in exception, and withal how terrible in constant resolution. And you shall find his vanities forspent, were but the outside of the Roman Brutus, covering discretion with the cost of folly, as gardeners do with ordure hide those roots that shall for spring and be most delicate.
Well, 'tis not so, my lord high constable. But though we think it so, it is no matter. In cases of defence 'tis best to weigh the enemy more mighty than he seems, so the proportions of defence are filled, which of a weak or niggardly projection doth like a miser spoil his coat with scanting a little cloth. Think we King Harry strong, and princes, look you strongly armed to meet him. The kindred of him hath been fleshed upon us, and he is bred out of that bloody strain that haunted us in our familiar paths. Witness our too much memorable shame when Cressy battle fatally was struck, and all our princes captive by the hand of that black name, Edward, Black Prince of Wales.
Whiles his mountain sire on mountain standing, up in the air, crowned with the golden sun, saw his heroical seed, and smiled to see him mangle the work of nature, and deface the patterns that by God and by French fathers had 20 years been made. This is the stem of that victorious stock, and let us fear the native mightiness and fate of him.
Ambassadors from Harry, King of England, do crave admittance to your majesty. We'll give them present audience. Go and bring them. You see, this chase is hotly followed, friends. Turn head and stop pursuit, for coward dogs most spend their mouths when what they seem to threaten runs far before them. Good my sovereign, take up the English short and let them know of what a monarchy you are the head.
Self-love, my liege, is not so vile a sin as self-neglecting.
From our brother, England, from him, and thus he greets your majesty. He wills you, in the name of God Almighty, that you divest yourself and lay apart the borrowed glories that by gift of heaven, by law of nature and of nations, belong to him and to his heirs, namely, the crown, and all wide-stretched honors that pertain by custom and the ordinance of times unto the crown of France, that you may know 'tis no sinister nor awkward claim, picked from the wormholes of long vanquished days, not from the dust of old oblivion raked. He sends you this most memorable line, in every branch truly demonstrative, willing to overlook this pedigree?
And when you find him evenly derived from his most famed of famous ancestors, Edward III, he bids you then resign your crown and kingdom, indirectly held from him, the native and true challenger. Or else what follows, you ask? Bloody constraint. For if you hide the crown, even in your hearts, there will he rake for it. Therefore, in fierce tempest is he coming, in thunder and earthquake like a Jove. that if requiring fail, he will compel, and bids you, in the bowels of the Lord, deliver up the crown, and to take mercy on the poor souls for whom this hungry war opens his vasty jaws, and on your head, turning the widow's tears, the orphan's cries, the dead men's blood, and the pining maiden's groans, for husbands, fathers, and betrothed lovers that shall be swallowed in this controversy. This is his claim, his threatening, and my message, unless the Dauphin in presence be, to whom expressly I bring greeting too.
For us, we will consider of this further. Tomorrow shall you bear our full intent back to our brother England. For the Dauphin, I stand here for him. What to him from England? Scorn and defiance, slight regard, contempt, and anything that might not misbecome the mighty sender doth he prize you at. Thus says my king, and if your father's highness do not, in grant of all demands at large, sweeten the bitter mock you sent his majesty, he'll call you to so hot an answer of it, that caves and womby vaultages of France shall chide your trespass, and return your mock in second accent of his ordinance. Say, if my father render fair return, it is against my will, for I desire nothing but odds with England.
To that end, as matching to his youth and vanity, I did present him with the Paris walls. He'll make your Paris Louvre shake for it, where the mistress court of mighty Europe. And be assured, you'll find a difference, as we as subjects have in wonder found, between the promise of his greener days and these he masters now. Now he weighs time, even to the utmost grain that you shall read in your own losses, if he stay in France. Tomorrow shall you know our mind at full. Dispatch us with all speed, lest that our king come here himself to question our delay, for he has footed in his land already. You shall be soon dispatched with the conditions. A night is but small breath and little pause to answer matters of this consequence.
Thus with the imagined wing, our swift scene flies in motion, of celerity no less than that of a thought. Imagine that you see the well-appointed king at Hampton Pier embarking his royalty, with his fleet of silken streamers, the young Phoeban Fenny. Play with your fantasies and imagine the hempen-tackled shipboys climbing. Hear the whistle which ordered to give sounds confusion. Behold the threatened sails which are borne with the invisible and creeping wind. Draw the heavy bottom through the forward sea, breasting the lofty surge, or you do but think that you are no ravage. And behold the city of inconstant bevil's dance. For so appears this fleet majestical, holding on to its due course to Hoffler.
Grapple your mind to the sternage of this navy and leave your England, as dead midnight still, guarded only with grandsires, babies and old women, either past or not yet arrived, their pith imprisons. For who is he whose chin is but enriched with one appearing hair that does not want to follow this cult and choice-driven cavaliers to France? Work your thoughts, and therefore see a siege. Behold the ordinance of their carriages, with fearful mouth gaping a girded half-roar. Suppose the ambassador comes back, tells Harry that the king doth offer him Catherine, his daughter, and with her, for dowry, some petty and unprofitable dukedoms. The offer likes not, and the nibble gunman with linstock now the devilish cannon touches, and down goes all before them. Still, be kind and eke out a performance with your mind.
Once more into the breach, my friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. In peace, nothing so becomes a man than modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger, stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with unfavored rage, then lend the eye a terrible aspect. Let pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon, and let the eyebrow o'erwhelm it, as fearfully as the galled rock o'erhang and jutty on its confounded base, swilled by the wild and wasteful ocean. Set the teeth, stretch the nostrils wide, hold hard the breath, and bend every spirit up to his... On, noble English, whose blood is fetched from fathers of war-proof.
Fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts fought and sheathed their swords for lack of arguments. On, you noblest English. Dishonor not your mothers. Now attest that those whom you call fathers did beget you. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you, good yeoman, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pastures. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not, for there's none of you so mean and base that hath not noble luster in your eyes. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slip, straining upon the start. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge cry, God for Harry, England, and St. George!
To the breach! Privy Corporal, stay. The knocks are too hot. And for mine own part, I have not a case of lives. The humor of it is too hot, and that is the very plain song of it. The plain song is most just. The humor is still down. Knocks go and come. God's vassals drop and die. And sword and shield in bloody field doth win immortal fame. Could I were in an alehouse in London, I would give all my fame for hot avail and safety. And I, if wishes would prevail with me, my purpose should not fail with me, but thither would I hie. As truly, but not as truly, as bird doth sing on bough.
Up to the breach, you dogs! Avaunt, you cullions! Be merciful, great Duke, to men of mould. Abate thy rage, abate thy manly rage. Abate thy rage, great Duke! Good Bawcock, abate thy rage. Use lenity, sweet Chuck. These be good humours. Your honour wins bad humours.
As young as I am, I have observed these three swashers. I am boy to them all three, but all they three, though they would serve me, could not be man to me. For indeed, three such antics do not amount to a man. For Bardolph, he is white-livered and red-faced, by the means whereof faces it out, but fights not. For Pistol, he hath a killing tongue and a quiet sword, by the means whereof breaks words and keeps whole weapons. For Nym, he hath heard that men of few words are the best men.
Therefore he scorns to say his prayers, lest it should be thought a coward. But his few bad words are matched with as few good deeds, for I never broke any man's head but his own, and that was against a post when he was drunk. They will steal anything and call it a purchase. Bardolph stole a lute case, bore it 12 leagues and sold it for 3 halfpence. Nim and Bardolph are sworn brothers in filching, and in Calais they stole a fire shovel. I knew by that piece of service the men would carry coals. They would have me as familiar with men's pockets as their gloves or their handkerchiefs, which makes much against my manhood. If I should take from another's pocket and put it into mine, for it is plain pocketing up of wrongs, I must leave them and seek some better service. Their villainy goes against my weak stomach, and therefore I must cast it up.
Captain Llewellyn, you must come presently to the mines. The Duke of Gloucester would speak with you. To the mines? Tell you the Duke is not so good to come to the mines. For, look you, the mines is not according to the disciplines of the war. The concavities of it is not sufficient for, look you, the adversary. You may discuss unto the Duke, look you, is did himself 4 yard under the countermines by Cheshire. I think I will plough up all, if there is not better directions. The Duke of Gloucester, to whom the order of the siege is given, is altogether directed by an Irishman. A very valiant gentleman, in faith. Is it Captain MacMorris, is it not? I think it be. By Cheshire, he is an ass. As in the world, I will verify as much in his beard. Be he has no more directions in the true disciplines of the wars, look you, of the Roman disciplines, than is a puppy dog.
Here he comes, send the Scots captain, Captain Jamie with him. Captain Jamie is a marvellous valorous gentleman, that is certain, and of great expedition and knowledge in the ancient wars upon my particular knowledge of his directions. By Jesu, he will maintain his argument as well as any military man in the world in the disciplines of the pristine wars of the Romans.
I say, good day, Captain Llewellyn.
Good e'en to your worship, good Captain Jamie.
How now, Captain MacMorris, have you quit the mines? Have the pioneers given o'er?
By Christ, 'tis ill done. The work is done. The trumpets sound the retreat. By my hand I swear, and my father's soul, the work is ill done. I ish give it o'er. I would have blown up the town, so Christ save me, la, in an hour. Oh, 'tis ill done, 'tis ill done. By my hand, 'tis ill done.
Captain MacMorris, I beseech you now, will you vouchsafe me, look you, a few disputations with you, as partly touching or concerning the disciplines of the war, the Roman wars, in the way of argument, look you, and friendly communication, partly to satisfy my opinion, and partly for the satisfaction, look you, of my mind, as touching the direction of the military discipline, that is, the point. It shall be very good, good faith, good captain's bath, and I shall quit you with good leave, as I may pick occasion, that shall I, marry. 'Tis no time to discourse, so Christ save me, the day is hot, and the weather, and the wars, and the king, and the dukes. It is no time to discourse. The town is besieged, the trumpet calls us to the breach, and we talk, and be Christ, do nothing.
'Tis shame for us all. So God save me, 'tis shame to stand still. It's a shame by my hand, and there's throats to be cut and work to be done, and there's nothing done. So Christ save me, law.
By the mess, ere these eyes of mine take themselves to slumber, I'll do good service, or I'll lig in the ground for it. Aye, or go to death, or I'll pay it as valorously as I may. That shall I surely do. That is the breath and the long. Mary, I would full fain heard some question between you tway.
Captain MacMorris, I think, look you, under your correction, there's not many of your nation.
Of my nation? What is my nation? Is it a villain? And a bastard and a knave and a rascal? What is my nation? Who talks of my nation?
Look you, if you take the matter otherwise than as meant, Captain MacMorris, peradventure I shall think you do not use me with that affability as in discretion you ought to use me. Look you, being as good a man as yourself, both in the disciplines of war and the derivation of my birth, and in other particularities. I do not know you so good a man as myself, so Christ save me, I shall cut off your head. Gentlemen, both you will mistake each other. Ah, that is a foul fault. A parley sounded. The town sounds a parley. Captain Macmorris, when there is more better opportunity to be required, look you, I will be so bold as to tell you I know the disciplines of war, and there is an end.
How yet resolves the governor of the town? This is the latest parle we will admit. Therefore to our best mercies give yourselves, or like to men proud of destruction, defy us to our worst. For as I am a soldier, a name that in my thoughts becomes me best, if I begin the battery once again, I will not leave the half-achieved half-fleur, till in her ashes she lie buried. The gates of mercy shall all be shut up, and the fleshed soldier, rough and hard of heart, in liberty of bloody hand, shall range with conscience wide as hell, mowing like grass your fresh fair virgins and your flowering infants. What is it to me then, if impious war, arrayed in flames, like to the Prince of Thieves, do with his schmertzed complexion, all fell feats and linked to waste and desolation?
What is to me, when you yourselves are cause, if your pure maidens fall into the hand of hot and forcing violation? What reign can hold licentious wickedness when down the hill he holds his fierce career? We may as bootless spend our vain command upon the enraged soldiers in their spoil, as send precepts to the Leviathan to come ashore. Therefore, you men of Harfleur, take pity of your town and of your people, whilst yet my soldiers are in my command, whilst yet the cool and temperate wind of grace o'erblows the filthy and contagious clouds of heady murder, spoil, and villainy. If not, why, in a moment look to see the blind and bloody soldier with foul hand defile the locks of your shrill shrieking daughters, your fathers taken by the silver beards, and their most reverend heads dashed to the walls.
Your naked infants spitted upon pikes, whilst their mad mothers howl and confused do break the clouds, as did the wives of the Jewry, Herod's bloody hunt and slaughterman. What say you? Will you yield and this avoid, or guilty in defence and be thus destroyed? Our expectations hath this day an end. The Dauphin, whom of successors we entertained, returns us that his powers are not yet ready to raise such a siege. Therefore, great King, we yield our town and our lives to thy soft mercy. Enter our gates, dispose of us and ours, for we are no longer defensible. Open your gates. Come, Uncle Exeter, go you and enter Harfleur. There you remain and fortify it strong against the French. Use mercy to them all. For us, dear uncle, winter is coming, and sickness is growing. Upon our soldiers we will retire to Calais. Tonight in Harfleur we will be your guests, and tomorrow for the march we are addressed.
Alice, tu as été en Angleterre et tu parles bien le langage. Un peu, madame. Je te prie, m'enseigner. Il faut que j'apprenne à parler. Comment appelez-vous la main en anglais? La main, elle est appelée the hand. The hand. Et les doigts? Les doigts. Ma foi, j'ai oublié les doigts. Mais je me souviendrai. Les doigts. Ah, je pense qu'ils sont appelés the fingers. Oui, the fingers. La main, the hand. Les doigts, the fingers. Je pense que je suis le bon écolier. J'ai gagné 2 mots d'anglais vitement. Comment appelez-vous les ongles?
Les ongles, nous les appelons de nails. De nails. Écoutez, dites-moi, si je parle bien, de hand, de fingers et de nails. C'est bien dit, madame, il est fort bon anglais. Dis-moi l'anglais pour les bras. D'arm, madame. Et le coude? D'elbow. D'elbow. Je m'en fais la répétition de tous les mots que vous m'avez appris à présent. Il est trop difficile, madame, quand je pense. Excusez-moi, Alice. Écoutez. De hand, de finger, de nails, d'arm, de bilbo. De elbow, madame.
हे भगवान, मैं तो भूल ही जाती हूँ. दी एल्बो. अच्छा, गर्दन को क्या कहते हैं? द नेक. दी नीक. और थोड़ी को? द चिन. द सीन. गर्दन को द नेक और थोड़ी को द सीन. हाँ, बस राजकुमारी साहिबा, आपका शब्दों का उच्चारण एकदम नेटिव इंग्लिश जैसा है. बस भगवान की दुआ से मैं जल्दी ही सीख लूँगी और अच्छे से. आप भूल तो नहीं गई जो मैंने आपको अभी तक सिखाया है? नहीं नहीं, मैं आपको सब पूरा वापस बोल के सुना देती हूँ. द हैंड, द फिंगर्स, द मेल्स. नेल्स मोहतरमा, नेल्स. नेल्स, आर्म, एल्बो.
Sur votre honneur, the elbow. Aussi déjà, the elbow, the neck, the shin. Comment appelez-vous les pieds et la robe? Des foot, madame. Et des coudes. De foot, de coude. Oh Seigneur Dieu, ces mots sont mauvais, corruptibles, gros et impudiques, et non pas les dames d'honneur de user. Je ne voudrais prononcer ces mots devant le Seigneur de France pour tout le monde. Le foot et le coude. Non, moi, je réciterai une autre fois ma leçon ensemble. The hand, the fingers, the nails, the arm, the elbow, the neck, the shin, the foot et the coude. Excellent, madame. C'est assez pour une fois. Allons-nous à dîner.
'Tis certain he hath passed the river Somme, and if he be not fought withal, my lord, let us not live in France. Let us quit all and give our vengeance to a barbarous people. Oh, Dieu vivant, shall a few sprays of us, the emptying of our fathers' luxury, our scions put in wild and savage stock, spurt up so suddenly into the clouds and overlook their crafters? Normans, but bastard Normans, Norman bastards, mort ma vie, if they march along unfought withal, but I will sell my dukedom to buy a slobbery and a dirty farm in that nook-shotten isle of Albion. Dieu de bataille, where have they this metal? Is not their climate foggy, raw, and dull, on whom, as in despite, the sun looks pale, killing their fruit with frowns?
Can sodden water, drenched for serene jades, their barley broth, decoct their blood to such valiant heat? And shall our quick blood, spirited with wine, seem frosty? Oh, for the honor of our land! Let us not hang like roping icicles upon our houses' thatch, while the more frosty people sweat drops of gallant youth in our rich fields. Poor we may call them in their native lands. Thy face and honor our madams mock at us, and plainly say our method is spread out, and they would give their bodies to the lust of English youth, to new-store friends with bastard warriors. They bid us to the English dancing schools and teach la voltes high and swift carantos, saying our grace is only in our heels, and that we are most lofty runaways.
Where is Montjoie the herald? Speed him hence. Let him greet England with our sharp defiance. Up, princes! And with spirit of honor edged more sharper than your swords, hie to the field. Charles de la Breth, High Constable of France, you Dukes of Orleans, Bourbon, and of Berry, Alençon, Brabant, Bar, and Burgundy, Jacques Chatillon, Rembrandt, Vaudemont, Beaumont, Grandpré, Roussay, and Falkenberg, Foix, Lestrade, Beauquequois, and Charleroi, high dukes, great princes, barons, lords, and knights, for your great seats now quit you of great shames. Bar Harry England, that sweeps through our land with pennons painted in the blood of Harfleur, rush on his host, as doth the melted snow upon the valleys, whose low vassal seat the Alps doth spit and void his room upon.
Go down upon him. You have power enough, and in a captive chariot into Rowan bring him our prisoner. This becomes the great. Sorry, am I? His numbers are so few, his soldiers sick and famished in their march, for I am sure when he shall see our army he'll drop his heart in the sink of fear, and for our achievement offer us his ransom. Therefore, Lord Constable, haste on Montjoy, and let him say to England that we send to know what willing ransom he will give. Prince Dauphin, you shall stay with us in Rowan. Not so, I do beseech your majesty. Be patient. You shall remain with us. Go forth, Lord Constable, and princes all, and quickly bring us word of England's fall.
How now, Captain Fluellen? Come you from the bridge? I assure you there's very excellent services committed at the bridge. Is the Duke of Exeter safe?
The Duke of Exeter is as magnanimous as Agamemnon, and a man that I love and honour with my soul, and my heart, and my duty, and my life, and my living, and my uttermost power. He is not, God be praised and blessed, any hurt in the world, but keeps the bridge most valiantly, with excellent discipline. There is an ancient lieutenant there at the bridge, I think in my very conscience he is as valiant a man as Mark Antony, and he is a man of no estimation in the world, but did see him do as gallant service.
What do you call him?
He is called Ancient Pesto.
I know him not.
Here is the man. Captain, I beseech thee to do me favours. The Duke of Exeter doth love thee well. I praise God, and I have merited some love at his hands.
Bardolph, a soldier, firm and sound of heart, and of buxom valour, hath by cruel fate, by giddy fortune's furious fickle wheel, that goddess blind that stands upon a rolling restless.
By your patience, ancient pistol, Fortune is painted blind, with a muffler o'er her eyes to signify to you that Fortune is blind. And she is painted also with a wheel to signify to you, which is the moral of it, that she is turning and in constant and mutability and variation. And her foot, look you, is fixed upon a spherical stone that rolls and rolls and rolls. In good truth, the poet makes a most excellent description of it. Fortune is an excellent moral.
Fortune is Bardolph's foe, and frowns upon him, for he hath stolen a pax, and hanged must be, a damned death.
The gallows gape for dog, let man go free, and let not hemp his windpipe suffocate. But Exeter hath given the doom of death for packs of little price. Therefore go, speak, the Duke will hear thy voice, and let not Bardolph's vital thread be cut with edge of pennycord and vile reproach. Speak, Captain, for his life, and I will thee requite.
Ancient Pistol, I do partly understand your meaning.
Why then rejoice therefore.
Certainly, Ancient, it is not a thing to rejoice at. For if, look you, he were my brother, I would desire the Duke to use his good pleasure and put him to execution. For discipline ought to be used.
Die and be damned, and fig over thy friendship.
It is well.
The fig of Spain.
Very good. Why, this is an errant counterfeit rascal. I remember him now, a bawd, a cut-purse. I'll assure you, he uttered as brave words at the bridge as you shall see in a summer's day. But it is very well what he has spoke to me, that is well, I warrant you, when time is served. Why, 'tis a gull, a fool, a rogue that now and then goes to the wars, to grace himself at his return into London under the form of a soldier. And such fellows are perfect in the great commanders' names, and they will learn you by rote, where services were done, at such and such a sconce, at such a breach, at such a convoy, who came off bravely, who was shot, who was disgraced, what terms the enemy stood on, and this they con perfectly in the phrase of war, which they trick up with new-tuned oaths.
And what a beard of the general's cut and a horrid suit of the camp will do among foaming bottles and ale-washed wits is wonderful to be thought on. But you must learn to know such slanders of the age, or else you may be marvellously mistook. I tell you what, Captain Gower, I do perceive he is not the man he would gladly make show to the world he is. If I find a hole in his coat, I will tell him my mind. Hark you, the king is coming, and I must speak with him from the bridge. God bless your majesty! How now, Fluellen? Camest thou from the bridge? Aye, so please your majesty, the Duke of Exeter has very gallantly maintained the bridge.
The French is gone off, look you, and there is a gallant and most brave passages marry the anniversary we have possession of the bridge, but he is enforced to retire, and the Duke of Exeter is master of the bridge. I can tell your majesty the Duke is a brave man.
What men have you lost, Fluellen?
The tradition of the anniversary hath been very great, reasonable great. Marry, for my part, I think the Duke hath lost never a man, but one that is like to be executed for robbing a church, one Bardolph. If your majesty know the man, his face is all bubblecles, and whelks, and knobs, and flames of fire, and his lips blows at the nose, and it is like a coal of fire, sometimes blue, and sometimes red, but his nose is executed, and his fire's out.
We would have all such offenders so cut off, and we give express charge that in our marches through the country there be nothing compelled from the villages, nothing taken but paid for, none of the French upbraided or abused in disdainful language, for when lenity and cruelty play for a kingdom, the gentler gamester is the soonest winner. You know me by my habit. Well, then I know thee. What shall I know of thee? My master's mind. Unfold it. Thus says my king. Caesar too, Harry of England. Though he seemed dead, we did but sleep. Advantage is a better soldier than rashness. Tell him we could have rebuked him at Harfleur, but that we thought not good to bruise an injury till it were full ripe. Now we speak upon our cue, and our voice is imperial.
England shall repent his folly, see his weakness, and admire our sufferance. Bid him therefore consider of his ransom, which must proportion the losses we have borne, the subjects we have lost, the disgrace we have digested, which in wait to re-answer his pettiness would bow under. For our losses, his exchequer is too poor. For the effusion of our blood, the muster of his kingdom too faint a number. And for our disgrace, his own person kneeling at our feet. But a weak and worthless satisfaction. To this add defiance, and tell him, for conclusion, he hath betrayed his followers, whose condemnation is pronounced. So far my king and master, so much my office.
What is thy name? I know thy quality. Thou dost thy office fairly. Turn thee back, and tell thy king I do not seek him now, but could be willing to march on to Calais without impeachment. For, to say the sooth, thou 'tis no wisdom to confess so much unto an enemy of craft and vantage. My people are with sickness, much enfeebled. My numbers lessened to those few I have, almost no better than so many French, who, when they were in health, I tell thee, Harold, I fought upon one pair of English legs, did march 3 Frenchmen. Yet, forgive me, God, that I do brag thus. This is your heir of France hath blown that vice in me. I must repent. Go, therefore, tell thy master, here I am.
My ransom is this frail and worthless trunk, my army but a weak and sickly guard. Yet, God before, tell him we will come on, though France himself and such another neighbour stand in our way. There's for thy labour, Montjoy. Go bid thy master well advise himself. If we may pass, we will. If we be hindered, we shall your 20 ground with your red blood discolour. And so, Montjoy, fare you well. The sum of all our answer is but this. We would not seek a battle as we are, nor, as we are, we say we will not shun it. So tell you, master. I shall deliver so, thanks to your highness. I hope they will not come upon us now. We are in God's hand, brother, not in theirs. March to the bridge. It now draws toward night. Beyond the river we'll encamp ourselves, and on tomorrow bid them march away.
Tut, I have the best armor of the world. Ah, would it were day. You have excellent armor, but let my horse have its due. Oh, it is the best horse of Europe. Will it never be morning? My Lord of Orleans and my Lord High Constable. You talk of horse and armor? You are as well provided of both as any prince in the world. What a long night is this. But I will not change my horse with any that treads but on 4 pasterns. Ha! He bounds from the earth as if his entrails were hares. Les chevaux volants, the Pegasus, chez les narines des fous. When I bestride him, I soar. I am a hawk. He trots the air. The earth sings when he touches it. The basest horn of his hoof more musical than the pipe of Hermes. He's of the colour of nutmeg.
And of the heat of the ginger. It is a beast for Perseus. He is pure air and fire, and the dull elements of earth and water never appear in him, but only in patient stillness, while his rider mounts him. He is indeed a horse, and all other jades you may call beasts. Indeed, my lord, it is a most excellent and absolute horse. It is the Prince of Palfreys. His neigh is like the bidding of a monarch, and his countenance enforces homage.
No more, cousin.
Nay, the man hath no wit that cannot, from the rising of the lark to the lodging of the lamb, very deserved praise on my palfrey. It is a theme as fluent as the sea. Turn the sounds into eloquent tongues, and my horse is argument for them all.
'Tis a subject for a sovereign to reason on, and for a sovereign to ride on, and for the world, familiar to us and unknown, to lay apart their particular functions and wander in him. I once read a sonnet in his praise and began thus: Wonder of nature.
I have heard a sonnet begin so to one's mistress.
Then did they imitate that which I composed to my courser, for my horse is my mistress.
Your mistress bears well.
Me well, which is the prescript praise and perfection of a good and particular mistress.
Nay, for methought yesterday your mistress shrewdly shook you back.
So perhaps did yours.
Mine was not bridled.
Oh, then belike she was old and gentle, and you rode like a kern of Ireland, your French hose off, and your straight Strassers.
You have good judgment in horsemanship.
Be warned by me then, they that ride so and ride not warily, fall into fall bogs. I'd rather have my horse to my mistress. I had as lief have my mistress a jade. I tell thee, constable, my mistress wears his own hair. I could make as true a boast as that, if I had a sow to my mistress. Le chien est retourné à son propre vomissement, et la truie lavée au bourbier. Thou makest use of anything, yet I do not use my horse for my mistress, or any such proverb so little kin to the purpose.
My lord constable, the armor that I saw in your tent tonight, are those stars or suns upon it?
Stars, my lord. Some of them will fall tomorrow, I hope, and yet my sky shall not want. That may be, for you bear a many superfluously, and 'twere more honor somewhere away.
Even as your horse bears your praises, who would trot just as well were some of his brags dismounted.
Would I were able to load him with his dessert. Will it never be day? I will trot tomorrow a mile, and my way shall be paved with English faces.
I will not say so for fear of being faced out of my way, but I would that it were morning. I would fain be about the ears of the English.
Who will go to hazard with me for 20 prisoners?
You must first hazard yourself ere you get them.
'Tis midnight. I shall go arm myself.
The Dauphin longs for morning.
He longs to eat the English.
I think he will eat all he kills.
By the white hand of my lady, he's a gallant prince.
Swear by her foot that she may tread on the oath.
He is simply the most active gentleman of France.
Doing his activity, and he will still be doing.
He never did harm that I heard of.
Nor will do none tomorrow. He will keep that good name still.
I know him to be valiant.
I was told that by one that knows him better than you.
What is he?
Larry, he told me so himself, and he said he cared not who knew it.
He needs not. It is not so it in virtue in him.
By my faith, sir, but it is. Never anybody saw it but his lackey. It is a hooded dagger, and when it appears, it will bit.
Ill will never said well.
I will cap that proverb with there is flattery in friendship.
And I will take up that with give the devil his due.
Well placed. There stands your friend for the devil. How does the very eye of that proverb with a box on the devil?
You are the better at proverbs by how much a fool's bolt is soon overshot. You have shot over. Oh, 'tis not the first time you were overshot. My Lord High Constable, the English lie within 1,500 paces of your tents. Who hath measured the ground? The Lord Grandpré, a valiant and most expert gentleman. Would it were day! Alas, poor Harry of England, he longs not for the dawning as we do. What a wretched and peevish fellow is this King of England, to mope with his fat-brained followers so far out of his knowledge. If the English had any apprehension, they would run away. Ho, that they lack, for if their heads had any intellectual armor, they could never wear such heavy head-pieces. That island of England breeds very valiant creatures. Their mastiffs are of unmatchable courage.
Foolish curs, that run winking into the mouth of a Russian bear and have their heads crushed like rotten apples. You may as well say that's a valiant flea that dare eat his breakfast on the lip of a lion. Just, and the men do sympathize with the mastiffs in robustness and rough coming on, leaving their wits with their wives and give them great meals of beef and iron and steel. They will eat like wolves and fight like devils. Aye, but these English are shrewdly out of beef. Then we shall find tomorrow they have only stomachs to eat and none to fight. Now is it time to arm? Come, shall we about it? It is now 2 o'clock, but let me see, by 10 we shall have each 100 Englishmen.
Now, entertain conjecture of a time when creeping murmur and the pouring dark fills the wide vessel of the universe. From camp to camp, through the foul womb of night, the hum of either army stilly sounds, that the fixed sentinels almost receive the secret whispers of each other's watch. Fire answers fire, and through their paly flames, each battle sees the other's umbered face. Steed threatens steed with high and boastful neighs, piercing the knight's dull ear. And from the tents, the armorers accomplishing the knights, with busy hammers closing rivets up, give dreadful note of preparation. The country cocks do crow, the clocks do toll, and the third hour of drowsy morning name. Proud of their numbers and secure in soul, the confident and overlusty French do the low-rated English play at dice.
Chide the crippled tardy-gated knight who, like a foul and ugly witch, doth limp so tediously away.
The poor condemned English, like sacrifices, by their watchful fires sit patiently and inly ruminate the morning's danger, and their gestures sad investing lankly cheeks and war-worn coats presented them unto the gazing moon, so many horrid ghosts. Oh now, who will behold the royal captain of this ruined band, walking from watch to watch, from tent to tent? Let him cry, praise and glory on his head, for forth he goes and visits all his host.
Bids them good morrow with a modest smile, and calls them brothers, friends, and countrymen. Upon his royal face there is no note how dread an army hath enrounded him.
Nor doth he dedicate one jot of colour unto the weary and all-watch night, but freshly looks and overbears a taint with cheerful semblance and sweet majesty, that every wretch, pining and pale before, beholding him, plucks comfort from his looks, a largesse universal like the sun. His liberal eye doth give to every one, thawing cold fear, that mean and gentle all behold, as may unworthiness define, a little touch of Harry in the night. And so our scene must to the battle fly, where, oh, for pity, we shall much disgrace, with 4 or 5 most vile and ragged foils, right ill disposed, in brawl ridiculous, the name of Agincourt. Yet sit and see, minding true things by what their mockeries be.
Gloucester, 'tis true that we are in great danger, the greater therefore should our courage be. Good morrow, Brother Bedford. God Almighty, there is some soul of goodness in things evil, when men observingly distill it out. For our bad neighbour makes us early stirrers, which is both healthful and good husbandry. Besides, there are outward consciences and preachers to us all, admonishing that we should dress us fairly for our end. Thus may we gather honey from the weed, and make a moral of the devil himself. Good morrow, old Sir Thomas Erpingham. A good soft pillow for that good white head were better than a churlish turf of France. Oh, not so, my liege. This lodging likes me better, since I may say, now lie I like a king.
'Tis good for men to love their present pains, upon example, and so the spirit is eased. But when the mind is quickened, out of doubt, the organs, though defunct and dead before, break up their drowsy grave, and newly move with a casted slough and fresh legerity. Lend me thy cloak, Sir Thomas, brothers both. Commend me to our princes in the camp. Do my good morrow to them, and anon desire them into my pavilion. We shall, my liege. Shall I attend your grace? No, my good knight. Go with my brothers and my lords of England. I and my bosom must debate a while, and then I would no other company. The Lord in heaven bless thee, noble Harry. God a mercy, old heart. Thou speakest cheerfully. Qui va a friend. Discuss unto me. Art thou officer, or art thou base, common, and popular? I am a gentleman of a company. Trailest thou the puissant pike?
Even so, what are you?
As good a gentleman as the Emperor.
Then you are better than the king?
The king's a bawcock, and a heart of gold, a lad of life, an imp of fame, of parents good, of fist most valiant. I kiss his dirty shoe, and from heartstring I love the lovely bully. What is thy name?
Harry Leroy.
Leroy? A Cornish name. Art thou of Cornish true?
No, I'm a Welshman.
Knowest thou Flullen?
Yes.
Tell him I'll knock his leek about his pate upon St. Davy's Day.
Do not you wear your dagger in your cap that day, lest he knock that about yours.
Art thou his friend?
And his kinsman too.
The figo for thee, then.
I thank you. God be with you.
My name is Pistol Called.
It sorts well with your fierceness.
Captain Llewellyn! In the name of Jesus Christ, speak lower. It is the greatest admiration in the universal world when the true and ancient prerogatives and laws of the wars is not kept. If you would take the pains but to examine the wars of Pompey the Great, you shall find, I warrant you, that there is no tittle-tattle nor pibble-pabble in Pompey's camp. I warrant you, you shall find the ceremonies of the wars, and the cares of it, and the forms of it, and the sobriety of it, and the modesty of it, to be otherwise. What of the enemy's lad? We hear him all night. If the enemy is an ass and a fool and a prating coxcomb, is it meet, think you, that we should also look you be an ass and a fool and a prating coxcomb? In your own conscience now. I will speak, Lyra. I pray you and beseech you that you will.
Though it appear a little out of fashion, there is much care and valour in this Welshman.
Brother John Bates, is not that the morning which breaks yonder?
I think it be, but we have no great cause to desire the approach of day.
We see yonder the beginning of the day, but I think we shall never see the end of it. Who goes there?
A friend.
Under what captain serve you?
Under Sir Thomas Erpingham.
A good commander and a most kind gentleman. I pray you, what thinks he of our state?
Even as men wrecked upon a sand think that look to be washed off the next tide.
He hath not told his thought to the king?
No, nor it is not meet he should, for though I speak it to you, I think the king is but a man, as I am.
The violet smells to him, as it doth to me. The element shows to him, as it doth to me. All his senses have but human condition. His ceremonies laid by, in his nakedness he appears but a man. And, though his affections are higher mounted than ours, yet, when they stoop with the like wing. Therefore, when he sees reason of fears, as we do, his fears out of doubt be of the same relish as ours are. Yet in reason no man should possess him with any appearance of fear, lest he, by showing it, should dishearten his army. He may show what outward courage he will, but I believe, as cold a night as 'tis, he could wish himself in Thames up to the neck, and so I would he were, and I by him, at all adventures, so we were quit here.
By my troth, I will speak my conscience of the king. I think he would not wish himself anywhere but where he is. Then I would he were here alone, so should he be sure to be ransomed, and many a poor man's life saved. I dare say you love him not so ill, to wish him here alone, howsoever you speak this, to feel other men's minds. Methinks I could not die anywhere so contented as in the king's company, his cause being just, and his quarrel honourable. That's more than we know. Ay, or more than we should seek after, for we know enough, if we know we are the king's subjects. If his cause be wrong, our obedience to the king wipes the crime of it out of us. But if the cause be not good, the king himself hath a heavy reckoning to make, when all those legs and arms and heads chopped off in battle shall join together at the latter day, and cry all.
We died at such a place, some swearing, some crying for a surgeon, some upon their wives left poor behind, then some upon the debts they owe, some upon their children rawly left. I am afeard there are few die well that die in battle, for how can they charitably dispose of anything when blood is their argument? Now if these men do not die well, it will be a black matter for the king that led them to it, whom to disobey were against all proportion of subjugation. So, if a son that is by his father sent about merchandise do sinfully miscarry upon the sea, the imputation of his wickedness by your rule should be imposed upon his father that sent him. Or, if a servant under his master's command transporting a sum of money be assailed by robbers and die in many unreconciled inequities, you may call the business of the master the author of the servant's damnation.
Ma non è così. Il re non è tenuto a rispondere della fine dei propri soldati come il padre di quella del proprio figlio o il padrone di quella del proprio servitore, che essi non se ne proposero la morte nel momento in cui si proposero di sfruttare i loro servizi, senza contare che non esiste un solo re il quale, pur impegnato nella più santa e immacolata delle cause, una volta passata all'arbitrio delle armi, possa farla trionfare con soldati mondi d'ogni colpa. Ce ne sono alcuni di questi che hanno sulla coscienza l'omicidio premeditato e compiuto a sangue freddo, altri che hanno ingannato e rapito delle vergini e altri ancora che hanno fatto della guerra un rifugio e dopo aver colpito il dolce seno della pace con ruberie e furti. Allora, se questi tutti quanti riescono a sottrarsi alla legge, se riescono a evitare il castigo che avrebbero in patria, se riescono a sfuggire agli uomini, questi contro Dio non hanno ali per andare abbastanza lontano da lui.
War is his beetle, war is vengeance, so that here men are punished for before, breach of the king's laws, and now the king's quarrel, where they fear the death they have borne life away, and where they would be safe they perish. Then, if they die unprovided, no more is the king guilty of their damnation than he was before guilty of those impurities for which they are now visited. Every subject's duty is the king's, but every subject's soul is his own. Therefore should every soldier in the wars do as every sick man in his bed, wash every mote out of his conscience, and dying so, death is to him advantage. Or not dying, the time is blessedly lost wherein such preparation was gained. And in him that escapes, it were not sin to think that, making God so free an offer, he let him outlive that day to see his greatness, and to teach others how they should prepare.
'Tis certain every man that dies ill, the ill upon his own head, the king is not to answer it.
But I do not desire he should answer for me, yet I determine to fight lustily for him.
I myself heard the king say he would not be ransomed.
Aye, he said so, to make us fight cheerfully. But when our throats are cut, he may be ransomed, and we never the wiser.
If I live to see it, I will never trust his word after.
You pay him then. That's a perilous shout out of an elder gun that a poor and private displeasure can do against a monarch. You may as well go about to turn the sun to ice with fanning in his face with a peacock's feather. You'll never trust his word after. Come, 'tis a foolish saying.
Your reproof is something too round. I should be angry with you if the time were convenient.
Let it be a quarrel between us, if you live.
I embrace it.
How shall I know thee again?
Give me any gauge of thine, and I will wear it in my bonnet. Then, if ever thou darest acknowledge it, I will make it my quarrel.
Here's my glove. Give me another of thine.
There.
This will I also wear in my cap. If ever thou come to me, and say after tomorrow, this is my glove, by this hand I'll take thee and box thee on the ear.
If I ever live to see it, I will challenge it.
Thou darest as well be hanged.
Well, I will do it, though I take thee in the king's company.
Keep thy word. Fare thee well. Be friends, you English fools. Be friends. We have French quarrels enow, if you could tell how to reckon.
Indeed. The French may lay 20 French crowns to 1 they will beat us, for they bear them on their shoulders. But it is no English treason to cut French crowns. And tomorrow, the king himself will be a clipper.
Upon the king, let us our lives, our souls, our debts, our careful wives, our children, and our sins lay on the king. We must bear all. Oh, hard condition. Twin born with greatness, but subject to the breath of every fool whose sense no more can feel but his own ringing. What infinite hearts ease must kings neglect, that private men enjoy. And what have kings that privates have not too, save ceremony, save general ceremony? And what art thou, thou idle ceremony? What kind of god art thou that sufferest more of mortal griefs than do thy worshippers? What's thy rents? What's thy comings in? Ceremony, show me but thy worth. What is thy soul of adoration? Art thou aught but place, degree, and form, creating awe and fear in other men?
Wherein thou art less happy being feared than they in fearing. What drinkest thou oft, instead of homage sweet, but poisoned flattery? Oh, be sick, great greatness, and bid thy ceremony give thee cure. Thinkest thou this fiery fever will go out with titles blown from adulation? Will it give place to flexure and low bending? Canst thou, when thou commandst the beggar's knee, command the health of it? No. Thou proud dream, that playest so subtly with a king's repose, I am a king that finds thee, and I know 'tis not the balm, the scepter and the ball, the sword, the mace, the crown imperial, the intertissued robe of gold and pearl, the farced idol running for the king, the throne he sits on, nor the tide of pomp that beats upon the high shore of this world.
No, not all these, thrice gorgeous ceremony, not all these, laid in bed majestical, can sleep so soundly as the wretched slave, who, with a body filled and vacant mind, gets him to rest, crammed with distressful bread, never sees horrid night, the child of hell, but, like a lackey, from the rise to set sweats in the eye of Phoebus, and all night sleeps in Elysium. Next day after dawn doth rise and help Hyperion to his horse, and follows so the ever-running year, with profitable labour to his grave, and, but for ceremony, such a wretch, winding up days with toil and nights with sleep, had the forehand and vantage of a king.
The slave, a member of the country's peace, enjoys it but in gross braying little walks. What watch the king keeps to maintain the peace, whose hours the peasant best advantages. My lord, your nobles, jealous of your absence, seek through your camp to find you. Good old knight, collect them all together at my tent. I'll be before thee. I shall do't, my lord. O God of battle, steel my brothers' hearts, possess them not with fear. Take from them now the sense of reckoning. If ye oppose numbers, pluck their hearts from them. Not today, O Lord, O not today. Think not upon the faults my father made encompassing the crown. I, Richard's body, have interred anew, and on it have bestowed more contrite tears, that from it issued forth drops of blood.
500 poor I have in my yearly pay, who twice a day their withered hands hold up toward heaven, pardon blood, and I have built 2 chanceries, where the sad and solemn priest sings still for Richard's soul. More will I do, though all that I can do is nothing worth, since that my penance comes after all, imploring pardon.
My liege, my brother Glocier's voice. I know thy errand.
I will go with thee, the day my friends in all things stay for me.
The sun doth gild our armor up, my lords.
Montez à cheval, my horse, valet. Lackey, ha!
Via les yeux la terre. Cléen puis le air et la fou. Ciel cousin au lion. Now, my lord constable.
Hark, how our steeds for present service neigh. Mount them, and make incisions in their hides, that their hot blood may spin in English eyes, and doth them a superfluous courage. What? Will you have them weep our horses' blood? How shall we then behold their natural tears? The English are embattled, the French peer. To horse, you gallant princes, straight to horse! Do but behold yon poor and starved band, and your fair show shall suck away their souls, leaving them but the shales and husks of men. There is not enough work for all of our hands, scarce blood enough in all their sickly veins to give each naked curtal axe a stain, that our French gallants shall today draw out and sheathe. For lack of sport, let us but blow on them. The vapor of valor will o'erturn them.
'Tis positive, 'gainst all exceptions, lords, that our superfluous lackeys and our peasants, who in unnecessary actions swarm about our squares of battle, were enow to purge this field of such a hiddling foe. Though we upon this mountain's basis spy, took our stand for idle speculation, but that our honors must not. What's to say? A very little let us do, and all is done. Then let the trumpet sound, the tucket sonnets, and the note to mount for all approach shall so much dear the field that England shall couch down in fear and yield. Ho! Why do you stay so long, my lords of France? Yon island carrions, desperate for their bones, ill-favoredly become the morning field. Their ragged curtains pearly are let loose, and our air shakes them passing scornfully. Big Mouth seems bankrupt in their beggared host, and fell through, and rusted beaver peeps. Ha ha!
The horsemen sit like fixed candlesticks, with torch staves in their hand, and their pongades lob down their heads, dropping the rides and the hips, the gum down roping from their pale dead eyes. In their pale dull mouths the gimel bit lies foul with chewed grass, still and motionless. and their executors, the knavish crows, fly o'er them, all impatient for their hour. Description cannot suit itself in words to demonstrate the life of such a battle. In life, so lifeless as it shows itself. They have said their prayers, and they stay for death. Shall we go send them dinners and fresh suits, and give their fasting horses provender, and after fight with them? I stay but for my guidon. To the field! I will the banner from a trumpet take, and use it for my haste. Come away! The sun is high, and we outweigh the day!
Where is the king? The king himself rode to view thy battle. Of fighting men they have full 3,000. There's 5 to 1, besides they all are fresh. God's arm strike with us, 'tis a fearful odds. God be with you, princes all, I'll to my charge. If we no more meet till we meet in heaven, then joyfully my noble Lord Bedford, my dear Lord Gloucester, and my good Lord Exeter, and my kind kingsmen, warriors all, adieu. Farewell, good Salisbury, and good luck go with thee. Farewell, kind lord, fight valiantly today, and yet I do thee wrong to mind thee of it, for thou art framed of the firm truth of valour. Exit Salisbury. He is full of valour as he is of kindness, pricely in both. Enter the king. Oh, know that we know had here but 1/10,000 of those men in England that do no work today.
What's he that wishes, sir? My cousin Westmoreland. No, my fair cousin, if we are marked to die, we are enow to do our country loss. And if to live, the fewer men, the greater share of honour. God's will, I pray you, wish not one man more. By Jove, I am not covetous for gold, nor care I who doth feed upon my cost, and it yearns me not if men my garments wear. Such outward things dwell not in my desires. But if it be a sin to covet honour, I am the most offending soul alive. No, faith, my coz, wish not a man from England. God's peace, I would not lose so great an honour as one man more, methinks would share from me for the best hope I have. Oh, do not wish one more.
Rather proclaim it, Westmoreland, through my host, that he which hath no stomach to this fight, let him depart. His passport shall be made, and crowns for convoy put into his purse. We would not die in that man's company that fears his fellowship to die with us. This day is called the Feast of St. Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand a tiptoe when the day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbours and say, "Tomorrow is St. Crispian." And he will strip his sleeve and show his scars and say, "These wounds I had on Crispin's day." Old men forget, yet all shall be forgot. But he'll remember with advantages what feats he did that day.
Then shall our names, familiar in his mouth as household words, Harry the King, Bedford and Exeter, Warwick and Talbot, Salisbury and Gloucester, be in their flowing cups freshly remembered. This story shall the good man teach his son, and Crispian shall ne'er go by from this day to the ending of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother, be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England now abed will think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whilst any speaks that fought with us upon St. Crispin's day.
My sovereign lord, bestow yourself with speed. The French are bravely in their battle set, and with all expedients charge on us. All things are ready, if our minds be so. Perish the man whose mind is backward now. Thou dost not wish more help from England, cause God's will, my liege, would you and I alone, without more help, could fight this royal battle. Why, now thou hast unwished 5,000 men, which likes me better than to wish us one. You know your places. God be with you all. Once more I come to know of thee, King Harry, if for thy ransom thou wilt now compound, before thy most assured overthrow. For certainly thou art so near the gulf, thou needs must be inglutted. Besides, in mercy, the constable desires thee, thou wilt mind thy followers of repentance.
That their souls may find a peaceful and a sweet retire from off these fields where wretches, their poor bodies must lie and fester.
Who hath sent thee now?
The constable of France.
I pray thee bear my former answer back. Bid them achieve me, and then sell my bones. Good God, why should they mock poor fellows thus? The man that once did sell the lion's skin while the beast lived was killed with hunting him. And many of our bodies shall no doubt find native graves, upon the which I trust shall witness live in brass of this day's work. And those that leave their valiant bones in France, dying like men, though buried in your dunghills, they shall be famed, for there the sun shall greet them and draw their honors reeking up to heaven, leaving their earthly parts to choke your clime, the smell whereof shall breed a plague in France.
Mark then abounding valor in our English, that being dead, like to the bullets grazing, break out into a second course of mischief, killing in relapse of mortality. Let me speak proudly. Tell the constable we are but warriors of the working day. Our gayness and our guilt are all besmirched with rainy marching in the painful field. There is not a piece of feather in our host. Good argument, I hope, we will not fly, and time hath worn us into slovenry. But by the mass our hearts are in the trim, and my poor soldiers tell me, yet ere night they'll be in fresher robes, as they'll pluck the new gay coats o'er your French soldiers' heads, and turn them out of service. If they do this, as if God pleased they shall, my ransom then will soon be levied.
Herald, save thou thy labour. Come thou no more for ransom, gentle herald. They shall have none, I swear, but these my joints, which if they have, as I will leave them then, shall yield them little. Tell the constable.
Shall King Harry and so fare thee well. Thou never shalt hear herald any more.
I fear thou once more come again for ransom.
My lord, most humbly on my knee I beg the leading of the vanguard.
Take it, brave York. Now, soldiers, march away, and how thou pleasest, God dispose the day.
Yield, cur!
Je pense que vous êtes gentilhomme de bonne qualité.
Qualité comme costume. Art thou a gentleman? What is thy name? Discuss.
Oh, Seigneur Dieu.
Oh, Seigneur Dieu should be a gentleman. Well, perpend my words, oh Seigneur Dieu. And mark, oh Seigneur Dieu, thou diest on point of fox. Except, oh Seigneur, thou dost give to me egregious ransom.
Oh, prenez miséricorde. Ayez pitié de moi.
Well, moi shall not serve. I shall have 40 mois. Or I shall fetch thy ring up thy throat in drops of crimson blood.
Est-il impossible d'échapper de la force de ton bras?
Brass? Cur? No damned and luxurious mountain goat offers me brass?
Oh, pardonnez-moi.
Say'st thou so? Is that a 10 of mois?
Come hither, boy, Ask me this slave in French. What is his name?
Écoutez, comment hâtez-vous appelle Monsieur le Fer?
He says his name is Master Fur. Master Fur. I'll fur him and furk him and ferret him. Discuss the same in French unto him.
I do not know the French for fur and ferret and furk.
Bid him prepare, for I will cut his throat.
Que dit-il, monsieur? Il me commande de vous dire que faites-vous prêt, car ces soldats ici disposent tout à cette heure de couper votre gorge.
Ah oui, couple, gorge, permafoy. Peasant, unless thou give me crowns, brave crowns, or mangled shalt thou be by this my sword.
Je vous supplie par l'amour de Dieu, mais pardonnez, je suis gentilhomme de mon maison. Gardez ma vie, et je vous donnerai de sans excuse.
Are his words.
He prays you to save his life. He is a gentleman of a good house, and for his ransom, he will give you 200 crowns.
Tell him my fury shall abate, and I the crowns will take.
Petit monsieur, encore qu'il est contre son jurement de pardonner aucun prisonnier, néanmoins, pour les écus que vous l'avez promis, il est content de vous donner la liberté, le franchissement. Sur mes genoux, je vous donne 1000 remerciements, et je m'estime heureux que je suis tombé entre les mains des chevaliers. Je pense le plus brave, vaillant et très distingué seigneur d'Angleterre. Expound unto me, boy. He gives you upon his knees 1,000 thanks, and he esteems himself happy that he had fallen into the hands of one, as he thinks, the most brave, valorous, and thrice-worthy seigneur of England. As I suck blood, I will some mercy show. Follow me.
Suivez-vous le grand capitaine. I did never know so full a voice issue from so empty a heart. But the saying is true. The empty vessel makes the greatest sound. Bardolph and Nym had 10 times more valour than this roaring devil in the old play. That everyone may pare his nails with a wooden dagger, and they are both hanged. And so would this be if he durst steal anything adventurously. I must stay with the lackeys with the luggage of our camp. The French might have a good prayer of us if he knew of it. For there is none to guard it but boys.
Oh, diable.
Oh, Seigneur, le jour est perdu. Tu es perdu.
All de ma vie, all is confounded, all reproach and everlasting shame sit mocking in our ears. Oh, merchant de fortune, do not run away while our ranks are broken. Oh, their durable shame. Stab ourselves. It is the wenches that we play that dice for.
Is this the king we sent for to his ransom?
Shame. Eternal shame. Nothing but shame. But once more, back again. He that will not follow Bourbon now, let him go thence, and with his cap in hand, like a base panther, hold the chamber door whilst by a slave, no gentler than my dog, his fairest daughter is contaminated. Disorder of us, friend us now. Go on in heaps to offer up our lives.
We are even now yet living in the field to smother up the English in our tongues. If any order might be thought upon, take order now. I'll to the throng. Life be short, else shame be too long.
Well have we done, thrice valiant countrymen, but all's not done, yet keep the French the field.
The Duke of York commends him to your majesty.
Lives he, good uncle? Thrice within this hour I saw him down, thrice up again in fighting. From helmet to the spur, all blood was he.
In which array, brave soldier, doth he lie? Larding the plain, and by his bloody side, yoke fellow to his honour owing wounds. The noble Earl of Suffolk also lies. Suffolk first died, and York, all haggled over, comes to him where in gore he lay ensteeped, and takes him by the beard, kisses the gashes that bloodily did spawn upon his face.
And cries aloud, Tarry, dear cousin Suffolk, my soul shall thine keep company to heaven. Tarry, sweet soul, for mind and fly abreast, as in this glorious and well-foughten field we kept together in our chivalry. Upon these words I came and cheered him up. He smiled me in the face, wrought me his hand, and with a feeble grip says, Dear my lord, commend my service to me sovereign. So did he turn, and over Suffolk's neck he threw his wounded arm, and kissed his lips, and so exposed to death with blood he sealed a testament of noble ending love. The pretty and sweet manner of it forced these waters from me, which I would have stopped, but I had not so much of man in me. And all my mother came into mine eyes, and gave me up to tears.
I blame you not, for, hearing this, I must perforce compound with mistful eyes, or they will issue too. But hark, what new alarm is this same? The French have reinforced their scattered men. Then every soldier kill his prisoners. Give the word through.
Kill the poison the luggage? 'Tis expressly against the law of arms. 'Tis as errant a piece of knavery, mark you now, as can be offered. In your conscience now, is it not?
'Tis certain there's not a boy left alive, and the cowardly rascals that ran from the battle had done this slaughter. Besides, they have burnt and carried away all that was in the king's tent. Wherefore the king, most worthily, hath caused every soldier to cut his prisoner's throat. Oh, 'tis a gallant king.
Aye, he was born at Monmouth, Captain Gower. What call you the town's name where Alexander the Pig was born? Alexander the Great. Why, I pray you, is not Pig great? The pig or the great, or the mighty or the huge, or the magnanimous, are all one reckonings, save the phrase is a little variations. I think Alexander the Great was born in Macedon. His father was called Philip of Macedon, as I take it. I think it is in Macedon where Alexander is born. I tell you, Captain, if you look in the maps of the world, I warrant you shall find, in the comparisons between Macedon and Monmouth, that the situations look you as both alike. There is a river in Macedon, and there is also, moreover, a river at Monmouth. It is called Wye at Monmouth, but it is out of my brains what is the name of the other river. But 'tis all one, 'tis alike as my fingers is to my fingers, and there is salmons in both.
If you mark Alexander's life well, Harry of Monmouth's life has come after it indifferent well, for there's figures in all things. Alexander, God knows, and you know, in his rages and his furies, and his wraths and his chollers, and his moods and his displeasures and his indignations, and also being a little intoxicate in his prains, did in his ails and his angers look you kill his best friend, Clytus. Our king is not like him in that. He never killed any of his friends. It is not well done, mark you now, take the tales out of my mouth ere it is made and finished.
I speak but in the figures and comparisons of it. As Alexander killed his friend Clytus, being in his ales and his cups,
so also Harry Monmouth, being in his right wits and his good judgments, turned away the fat knight with the great belly du blade. He was full of jazz, and jives, and knaveries, and marks. I forgot his name! Sir John Falstaff. Oh, that is he! I'll tell you, there is good men born at Mornmouth. Here comes his majesty. I was not angry since I came to France until this instant. Take a trumpet, herald. Ride thou unto the horsemen on yon hill. If they'll fight with us, bid them come down. Avoid the field, if they do offend our sight. If they'll do neither, we will come to them, and make them scurry away, as swift as stones, and force from the old Assyrian slings. Besides, we'll cut the throats of those we have, and not a man of them that we shall take shall taste our mercy. Go on, and tell them so.
Here comes the herald of the French, my liege. His eyes are humbler than they used to be. How now, what means this herald? Know'st thou not that I have found these bones of mine for ransom? Comest thou again for ransom? No, great king, I come to thee for charitable license, that we may wander o'er this bloody field, to book our dead, and then to bury them, to sort our nobles from the common men. For many of our princes, woe the while, lie drowned and soaked in mercenary blood. So do our vulgar drench their peasant limbs in blood of princes, and their wounded steeds fret fetlock deep in gore, and with wild rage yerk out their armed heels at their dead masters, killing them twice.
Oh, give us leave, great king, to view the field in safety, and dispose of their dead bodies.
I tell thee truly, herald, I know not if the day be ours or no, for yet a many of your horsemen peer and gallop o'er the field. The day is yours. Praised be God, and not our strength for it. What is this castle called that stands hard by? They call it Agincourt. Then we call this the field of Agincourt, fought on the day of Crispin Crispianus. Your grandfather, of famous memory, an't please your majesty, and your great-uncle Edward the Plaque, Prince of Wales, as I have read in the chronicles, fought a most brave battle here in France. They did, Fluellen. Your majesty says very true. If your majesties is remembered of it, the Welshmen did good service in a garden where leeks did grow, wearing leeks in their Monmouth caps, which your majesty know to this hour is an honourable badge of the service, and I do believe your majesty takes no scorn to wear the leek upon St. Tavi's day.
I wear it for a memorable honour, for I am Welsh, you know, good countryman. All the water in Wye cannot wash your majesty's Welsh blood out of your body, I can tell you that. God bless it and preserve it, as long as it please his grace and his majesty too. Thanks, good my countryman. By Jesu, I am your majesty's countryman. I care not who know it. I will confess it to all the world. I need not to be ashamed of your majesty's praise be God, so long as your majesty is an honest man. God keep me so. Our heralds go with him. Bring me just notice of the numbers dead on both our parts. Call yonder fellow hither. Soldier, you must come to the king. Ah! Stop! Soldier, why wearest thou that glove in thy cap? Ain't please your majesty, 'tis the gage of one that I should fight withal if he be alive. An Englishman.
Ah, Williams. Likely. Check with Fluellen, he'll have an idea. Uh-huh. Oh goodness, leave it to Llewellyn.
Then keepest thy vow, Sirrah, when thou meetst the man.
So I will, my liege, as I live.
Who servest thou under?
Captain Gower, my liege?
Gower is a good captain, and hath good knowledge of literature and the wars.
Call him hither to me, soldier.
I will, my liege.
Here, Llewellyn, wear thou this favour for me and stick it in thy cap. When Alanson and myself were down together, I plucked this glove from his helm. If any man do challenge this, he is a friend to Alanson and an enemy to our own person. If thou dost encounter any such, apprehend him, and thou dost me love.
Your grace do me as great an honour as can be desired in the hearts of his subjects. I would fain see the man, but that has but 2 legs, that shall find himself aggrieved at this glove. That is all, but I would fain see it once, and please God for his grace, that I might see.
Knowest thou, Gower? He is my dear friend, and please here. Pray thee, go seek him, and bring him to my tent. I will fetch him. My lord of Warwick, and my brother Gloucester, follow Llewellyn closely at the heels. The glove which I have given him for a favour may haply purchase him a box o' the ear. It is the soldier's. I by bargain should wear it myself. Follow, good cousin Warwick. If that soldier strike him, as I judge by his blunt bearing, he will keep his word. Some sudden mischief may arise of it. For I do know Llewellyn valiant, and touched with choler, hot as gunpowder, and quickly will return an injury. Follow and see there be no harm between them. Go you with me, uncle.
I warrant it is tonight, you captain. God's will and his pleasure, captain. I beseech you now, come apace to the king. There is more good toward you peradventure than is in your knowledge to dream of. Sir, you know this glove? Know the glove? I know the glove is glove. I know this, and thus I challenge it. 'Tis blood! An errant traitor as any in the universal world, or in France, or in England. How now, sir, you villain? Do you think I'll be forsworn? Stand away, Captain Glower. I will give treason his payment into plows, I warrant you. I am no traitor. That's a lie in thy throat. I charge you in his majesty's name, apprehend him. He is a friend to the Duke Alencons. How now? What's the matter?
My lord of Warwick, here is, praise be God for it, a most contagious treason comes to light. Look ye, as ye shall desire in a summer's day, here is his majesty!
How now? What's the matter?
My liege, here is a villain and a traitor that, look, your grace, would you just look at it, has struck the glove which your majesty is taken out of the helmet of Alencon. No, my liege. This was my glove. And this is the venom.
And he that I gave it to in chains promised to wear it in his cap. I promised to strike him. If he did, I met this man with my glove in his cap, and I have been as good as my word.
Your Majesty, here now, saving your Majesty's manhood. What an errant, rascally, beggarly, lousy knave it is.
I hope your Majesty is
Hear me testimony and witness and will avouchment that this is the glove of Alan that your majesty has given me in your conscience now.
Give me thy glove, soldier.
Look! Here is the fellow of it.
'Twas I indeed thou promised to strike, and thou hast given me most bitter terms.
And please your majesty, let his neck answer for it if there is any martial law in the world.
How canst thou make me satisfaction?
All offences, my lord, come from the heart. No came any from mine that might offend your majesty.
It was ourself thou didst abuse.
Your majesty came not like yourself. You appeared to me but as a common man. Witness the night, your garments, your lowliness, and what your highness suffered under that shape. I beseech you, take it for your own fault, and not mine. For had you been as I took you for, I made no offence. Therefore I beseech you, your highness, pardon me.
Here, Uncle Exeter, fill this glove with crowns, and give it to the fellow. Keep it, fellow, and wear it as an honor in thy cap till I do challenge it. Give him the crowns, and captain, you must need be friends with him. By this day and this light, the fellow has mettle, enough in his belly. Hold, here is 12 pence for you, and I pray you to serve God and keep you out of the prowls and probbles and quarrels and dissensions, and I warrant you, it is better for you.
I want none of your money.
It is with goodwill, I can tell you. It will serve you to mend your shoes. Come, wherefore should you be so bashful? Your shoes is not so good. 'Tis a good silling, I warrant you, or I will change it. Now, Harold, are the dead numbered? Here are the number of the slaughtered French. What prisoners of good sort are taken, uncle?
Charles, Duke of Orleans, nephew to the king, John, Duke of Bourbon, and Lord Boucicaut. Of other lords and barons, knights, and squires, full 1,500, besides common men. This note doth tell me of 10,000 French in the field that lie slain. Of princes in this number, and nobles bearing banners, there lie dead 126. Added to these, of knights, esquires, and gallant gentlemen, 8,400, of the which 500 were but yesterday dubbed knights, so that in these 10,000 they have lost there are but 1,600 mercenaries. The rest are princes, barons, lords, knights, squires, and gentlemen of blood and quality. The names of those their nobles that lie dead: Charles d'Albret, High Constable of France; Jacques of Chatillon, Admiral of France;
the Master of the Crossbows, Lord Rambus; Great Master of France, the brave Sir Guichard Dolphin; John, Duke of Alençon; Anthony, Duke of Brabant, the brother of the Duke of Burgundy; and Edward, Duke of Bar; of lusty earls, Grandpré and Russy; Fauconbert and Foix, Beaumont and Marle, Vaudemont and Lestrade. Here was a royal fellowship of death. Where is the number of our English dead? Edward, the Duke of York, the Earl of Suffolk, Sir Richard Ketley, Davy Gam, Esquire. None else of name, and of all other men but 25. Oh God, thy arm was here.
And not to us, but to thy arm alone, ascribe we all, when, without stratagem, but in plain shock, and even play of battle, was ever known so great and little loss on one part and on the other. Take it, God, for it is that none but thine. 'Tis wonderful. Come, go we in procession to the village, and be it death proclaimed through our host to boast of this and take the praise from God, which it is his only. Is it not lawful, and please your majesty, to tell us how many is killed? Yes, captain, but by this acknowledgment that God fought for us. Yes, my conscience, he did us great good. Do we all holy rites. Let there be sung non nobis and Te Deum, the dead with charity enclosed in clay, and then to Calais, and to England then, where ne'er from France arrive more happy men.
Vouchsafe to those that have not read the story, that I may prompt them, and of such as have, I humbly pray them to admit the excuse of time, of numbers, and due course of things, which cannot in their huge and proper life be here presented. Now we bear the king toward Calais. Grant him there seen, heave him away upon your winged thoughts athwart the sea. Behold, the English beach pales in the flood with men, with wives and boys, whose shouts and claps outvoice the deep-mouthed sea, which, like a mighty whiffler for the king, seems to prepare his way. So let him land, and solemnly see him set on to London. So swift a pace hath thought, that even now you may imagine him upon Blackheath, where that his lords desire him to have borne his bruised helmet and his bended sword before him through the city. He forbids it, being free from vainness and self-glorious pride, giving full trophy, signal, and ostent quite from himself to God.
But now behold, in the quick forge and working house of thought, how London doth pour out her citizens, the mayor and all his brethren in best sort, like to the senators of antique Rome, with all the plebeians swarming at their heels, go forth and fetch the conquering Caesar in, as, by a lower but loving likelihood, were now the general of our gracious empress, as in good time he may, from Ireland's coming, bringing rebellion broached on his sword. How many would the peaceful city quit to welcome him? Much more, and much more cause did they this airy. Now in London place him. As yet the lamentation of the French invites the King of England stay at home. The Emperor's coming on behalf of France to order peace between them and omit all the occurrences wherever chanced, till Harry back again return to France. There must we bring him. And myself have played the interim by remembering you 'tis past. Then brook abridgment, and your eyes advance, after your thoughts straight back again to France.
Nay, that's right, but why wear you your leek today? St. Davy's Day is past. There is occasions and causes why and wherefore in all things. I will tell you, asked my friend Captain Gower, the rascally, scald, beggarly, lousy, praggy knave, Pistol, which you and yourself and all the world know to be no better than a fellow. Look you now, of no merits, he has come to me, and brings me bread and salt yesterday, look you, and bid me eat my leek. It was in place where I could not breed no contention with him, but I will be so bold as to wear it in my cap until I see him once again, and then I will tell him a little piece of my desires. Why, here he comes, swelling like a turkey cock. 'Tis no matter for his swellings nor his turkey cocks. God bless you, Aunchy and Pistol, you scurvy, lousy knave. God bless you.
Ha! Art thou Bedlam? Dost thou thirst, base Trojan, to have me fold up parts as fatal web? Hence, I am qualmish at the smell of leek. I beseech you heartily, scurvy, lousy knave, at my desires, and my requests, and my petitions to eat. Look you, this leek. Because look, you do not love it, nor your affections and your appetites and your digestions do not agree with it. I would desire you to eat it. Not for Cadwallader and all his goats. There is one goat for you. Will you be so good, scald knave, as eat it? Base Trojan, thou shalt die. You say very true, scald knave, when God's will is. I will desire you to live in the meantime, and eat your victuals. Come, there is sauce for it.
You called me yesterday mountain squire, but I will make you today a squire of low degree. I pray you full too, if you can mock a leek, you can eat a leek.
I say I will make him eat some part of my leek, or I will peat his pate 4 days. Bite, I pray you. It is good for your green wound and your bloody coxcomb. Must I bite? Yes, certainly, and out of doubt, and out of question too, and ambiguities. By this leek I will most horribly revenge. Eat and eat, I swear. Eat, I pray you. Will you have some more sauce to your leek? There is not enough leek to swear by. Quiet thy cudgel, thou dost see I eat.
Much good do you, scald knave, heartily. Nay, pray you, throw none away. The skin is good for your broken coxcomb. When you take occasions to see leeks hereafter, I pray you, mock at 'em, that is all.
Good.
Aye, leeks is good. Hold you, there is a groat to heal your pate.
Me a groat?
Yes, verily, and in truth, ye shall take it, or I have another leek in my pocket which you shall eat.
I take thy groat in earnest of revenge.
If I owe you anything, I will pay you in cudgels. You shall be a woodmonger, and buy nothing of me but cudgels. God be with you, and keep you, and heal your pate.
All hell shall stir for this.
Go, go, you are a counterfeit, cowardly knave. Will you mock at an ancient tradition begun upon honourable respect and worn as a memorable trophy of precise valour, and dare not avouch in your deeds any of your words?
I have seen you gleeking and galling at this gentleman twice or thrice. You thought because he could not speak English in the native garb, he could not therefore handle an English cudgel. You find it otherwise. And henceforth let a Welsh correction teach you a good English condition. Fare you well. Doth Fortune play the housewife with me now? News I have that my Nell is dead of the spittle of the malady of France, and that my rendezvous is quite cut off. Old I do wax, and from my weary limbs honour is cudgelled. Well barred I'll turn, and something lean to cut purse of quick hand. To England will I steal, and there I'll steal. And patches will I get under these cudgelled scars, and swear I got them in the Gallia wars.
Peace to this meeting wherefore we are met. Unto our brother France and to our sister, health and fair time of day, joy and good wishes to our most fair and princely cousin Catherine, and as a branch and member of this royalty by whom this great assembly is contrived, we do salute you, Duke of Burgundy, and Princess French and peers, health to you all.
Right joyous we are to behold your face, most worthy brother England, fairly met. So are you, Princess English, everyone.
So happy to be the issue, brother England, of this good day and of this gracious meeting, as we are now glad to behold your eyes.
Your eyes, which hitherto have borne in them against the French that met with them in their bent, the fatal balls of murdering basilisks, the venom of such looks we fairly hope, have lost their quality, and that this day shall change all griefs and quarrels into love. To cry amen to that, thus we appear. You English princes all, I do salute you. My duty to you both on equal love, great kings of France and England, that I have labored, with all my wits, my pains, and strong endeavors, to bring your most imperial majesties unto this bar and royal interview. Your mindedness on both parts best can witness. Since then my office hath so far prevailed, that, face to face and royal eye to eye, you have congregated.
Let it not disgrace me, if I demand before this royal view what rub or what impediment there is, why that the naked, poor, and mangled peace, dear nurse of arts and joyful births, Should not in this best garden of the world our fertile France put up her lovely visage? Alas, she hath from France too long been chased, and all her husbandry doth lie on heaps, corrupting in its own fertility. Her vine, the merry cheerer of the heart, unpruned dies, her hedges even bleached, like prisoners wildly overgrown with hair. Put forth disordered twigs, her fallow lays, the darnel, hemlock, and rank fumitory, doth root upon while that coulter rusts, that should racinate such savagery, the even mead that e'er sprout sweetly forth, the freckled cowslip, burnet, and green clover.
Wanting the scythe, all uncorrected rank, conceives by idleness, and nothing teems but hateful docks, rough thistles, kexies, burrs, losing both beauty and utility. And as our vineyards, fallows, meads, and hedges, defective in their natures, grow to wildness, even so our houses and ourselves and our children have lost or do not learn for want of time the sciences that should become our country, but grow like savages, as soldiers will that nothing do but meditate on blood, to swearing and stern looks, diffused attire, and everything that seems unnatural, which, to reduce into our former favour, you are assembled. And my speech entreats that I may know the let why gentle peace should not expel these inconveniences and bless us with her former qualities.
If, Duke of Burgundy, you would the peace, whose want gives growth to the imperfections which you have cited, you must buy that peace, with full accordance to our just demands, whose tenors and particular effects you have scheduled briefly in your hand.
The king hath heard them, as to which there is as yet no answer made.
Well, then the peace which you before so urged lies in his answer. I have but with a cursory eye overglanced the articles. Please it your grace to appoint some of your council presently to sit with us once more, with better heed to resurvey them. We will suddenly pass our accept and peremptory answer.
Brother, we shall. Go, Uncle Exeter, and Brother Clarence, and you, Brother Gloucester, Warwick, and Huntingdon, go with the king, and take with you free power to ratify, augment, or alter as your wisdom's best shall see advantageable to our dignity, anything in or out of our demands, and will consign thereto. Will you, fair sister, go with the princes, or stay here with us?
Our gracious brother, I will go with them. Haply a woman's voice may do some good when articles too nicely urged be stood on.
Yet leave our cousin Catherine here with us. She is our capital demand, comprised within the forerank of our articles.
She hath good leave.
O fair Catherine, and most fair, will you vouchsafe to teach a soldier terms such as will enter a lady's ear and plead his love suit to her gentle heart? Your Majesty shall mock at me. I cannot speak your England. Oh, fair Catherine, if you will love me with your French heart, I will be glad to hear you confess it with your English tongue. Do you like me, Kate? Pardonnez-moi, I cannot tell what is like me. An angel is like you, Kate, and you are like an angel. Kate d'il, je suis semblable les angels. Oui, vraiment, sauf votre grâce, ainsi dit-elle. I said so, dear Catherine, and I must not blush to admit it.
Oh bon Dieu, il long des hommes sont plein de bons filles.
What says she, fair one? That the tongues of men are full of deceits?
Oui, that is the tongues of the men is be full of deceits. That is the princess.
The princess is a better Englishwoman. I faith, Kate, my wooing is fit for thy understanding. I am glad thou canst speak no better English. For if thou couldst, thou wouldst find me such a plain king, and thou wouldst think that I had sold my farm to buy my crown. I know no ways to mince it in love, but directly to say, I love you. Then if you urge me further than to say, do you in faith, I wear out my suit. Give me your answer. I faith too, and so clap hands and a bargain. How say you, lady?
So votre honneur me understand well. Mary, if you would put me to verses or to dance for your sake, Kate, why you undid me. For the one I have neither words nor measure, and for the other I have no strength in measure, yet a reasonable measure in strength. If I could win a lady at leapfrog, or by vaulting into my saddle with my armor on my back, under the correction of bragging, be it spoken, I should quickly leap into a wife. Or if I might buffet for my love, or bound my horse for her favors, I could lay on like a butcher, and sit like a jackanapes, never off. But before God, Kate, I cannot look greenly, nor gasp out my eloquence, nor I have no cunning in protestation, only downright oaths, which I never use till urged, nor never break for urging.
Wait, 1 second. Okay. Google Translate. Okay. If thou canst love a fellow of this temper, Kate, whose face is not worth sunburning, that never looks in his glass for love of anything he sees, there let thine eye be thy cook. I speak to thee plain, soldier. If thou canst love me for this, take me. If not, to say to thee that I shall not die is true, but for thy love, by the Lord, no, yet I love thee too. And while thou livest, dear Kate, take a fellow of plain and uncoined constancy, for he perforce must do thee right, because he hath not the gift to woo in other places. For those fellows of infinite tongue that can rhyme themselves into ladies' favors, they do always reason themselves out again.
What? A speaker is but a prater. A rhyme is but a ballad. A good leg will fall. A straight back will stoop. A black beard will turn white. A curled pate will grow bald. A fair face will wither. A full eye will wax hollow, but a good heart, Kate, is the sun and the moon. Or rather, the sun and not the moon, for it shines bright and never changes, but keeps his course truly. If thou would have such a one, take me, and take me. Take a soldier. Take a soldier. Take a king. And what sayest thou then to my love? Speak, my fair, and fairly I pray thee. Is it possible that I should love the enemy of France? No, it is not possible. You should love the enemy of France, Kate. But in loving me, you should love the friend of France.
For I love France so well that I will not part with a village of it. I will have it all mine. Oh, and Kate, when France is mine and I am yours, then yours is France and you are mine. I cannot tell what is that. No, Kate, I will tell thee in French, which I am sure will hang upon my tongue like a new married wife about her husband's neck, hardly to be shook off. Je compte sur la possession de France, et quand vous avez la possession de moi, let me see what next. Saint Denis be my speed. Donc votre est France, et vous est mienne. It's as easy for me, Kate, to conquer the kingdom as to speak so much more French. I shall never move thee in French unless it be to laugh at me. Sans faute honneur, le français que vous parlez, il est mieux que les anglais lesquels je parle.
No, faith is't not, Kate, but thy speaking of my tongue and I thine, most truly falsely, must needs be granted to be much at one. But Kate, dost thou understand thus much English? Canst thou love me?
I cannot tell.
Can any of your neighbours tell, Kate? I'll ask them. Come, I know thou lovest me, and at night, when you come into your closet, you'll question this gentlewoman about me, and I know, Kate, you will to her dispraise those parts in me that you love with your heart. But, good Kate, mock me mercifully, the rather, gentle princess, because I love thee cruelly. If ever thou beest mine, Kate, as I have a saving faith within me tells me thou shalt, I get thee with scrambling, and thou must therefore needs prove a good soldier breeder.
Shall not thou and I, between St. Denis and St. George, compound a boy, half French, half English, that shall go to Constantinople and take the Turk by the beard? Shall we not? What sayest thou, my fair flower de luce?
I do not know that.
No, 'tis hereafter to know, but now to promise. Do but now promise, Kate, you will endeavour for your French part of such a boy, and for my English moiety take the word of a king and a bachelor. How answer you, La plus belle Catherine du Monde, Montrez cheret devendias?
Your Majesty have false French enough to deceive the Moussa's demoiselle that is en France.
Now, fie upon my false French.
By my honour in true English, I love thee, Kate, by which honour I dare not swear thou lovest me, yet my blood begins to flatter me that thou dost, notwithstanding the poor and untempering effect of my visage. Now beshrew my father's ambition, he was thinking of civil wars when he got me. Therefore I was created with a stubborn outside, with an aspect of iron, that when I come to woo ladies, I fright them. But in faith, Kate, the elder I wax, the better I shall appear. My comfort is that old age I'll layer up, beauty can do no more spoil upon my face. Thou hast me, if thou hast me at the worst, and thou shalt wear me, if thou wear me better and better. And therefore tell me, most fair Catherine, will you have me?
Put off your maiden blushes. Avouch the thoughts of your heart with the looks of an empress. Take me by the hand and say, Harry of England, I'm thine. Which word thou shalt no sooner bless mine ear withal, but I will let thee loud. England is thine, Ireland is thine, France is thine, and Harry Plantagenet is thine. Who do I speak it before his face? If he be not fellow with the best king, thou shalt find the best king of good fellows. Come, your answer in broken music, for thy voice is music. And thy English broken, therefore queen of all, Catherine, break thy mind to me in broken English. Wilt thou have me?
That is, as it shall please the roi mon père.
Nay, it will please him well, Kate. It shall please him, Kate.
Then it shall also content me.
Upon that I kiss your hand, and I call you my queen.
Laissez, monseigneur, laissez, ma foi. Je ne veux point que vous abaissez votre grandeur en baisant la main d'une de votre seigneurie indigne serviteur. Excusez-moi, je vous supplie, mon très puissant seigneur.
Then I will kiss your lips, Kate.
Les dames et les demoiselles pour être baisées avant leurs noces, il n'est pas la coutume de France.
Madame, my interpreter, what says she?
That it be not the fashion for the ladies of France. I cannot tell what is baiser en English.
To kiss.
Your Majesty entendra better que moi. It is not a fashion for the maids in France to kiss before they are married, would she say? Oui, vraiment. Oh, Kate. Nice customs, curtsy to great kings. Dear Kate, you and I cannot be held within the weak confines of a country's fashion. We are the makers of manners, Kate. And the liberty that follows our place will stop the mouths of all fine faults, as I shall do yours, for upholding the nice fashion of your country and denying me a kiss. Therefore, patiently and yielding. You have witchcraft in your lips, Kate. There is more eloquence in a sugar touch of them than in the tongues of the French council. They should sooner persuade Harry of England than a general petition of monarchs. Here comes your father.
God save your Majesty, my royal cousin.
Teach you our princess English? I would have her learn, my fair cousin, how perfectly I love her, and that is good English. Is she not apt? Our tongue is rough, coz, and my condition is not smooth, so that, having neither the voice nor the heart of flattery about me, I cannot so conjure up the spirit of love in her that he will appear in his true likeness. Pardon the frankness of my mirth, if I answer you for that. If you would conjure in her, you must make a circle. If conjure up love in her in his true likeness, he must appear naked and blind. Can you blame her then, being a maid yet rosed over with the virgin crimson of modesty, if she deny the appearance of a naked blind boy in her naked seeing self? It were, my lord, a hard condition for a maid to consign to.
Yet they do wink and yield, as love is blind, and enforces. They are then excused, my lord, when they see not what they do. Then, good lord, teach your cousin to consent winking. I will wink on her to consent, my lord, if you will teach her to know my meaning. For maids, well summered and warm kept, are like flies at Bartholomew tide, blind, though they have their eyes, and then they will endure handling, which before would not abide looking on. This moral ties me over to time, and a hot summer, and so I shall catch the fly, your cousin, in the latter end, and she must be blind too. As love is, my lord, before it loves. It is so, and you may, some of you, thank love for my blindness, who cannot see many a fair French city, for one fair French maid that stands in my way.
Effectivement, mes lords, vous en perspective, chacune de ces vies vous faites l'effet d'une vierge, car toutes sont saintes de murailles vierges que la guerre n'a jamais faussées. Shall Kate be my wife? Comme il vous plaira. I am content, so the maiden cities you talk of may wait on her, so the maid that stood in the way for my wish shall show me the way to my will. Nous avons consenti à toutes les conditions raisonnables. Is so, my lords of England? E così, sire, il re si è detto pronto ad accettare ogni nostra richiesta, prima di tutti quella di sua figlia, e poi ad una tutte le altre, così come son state formulate. Only he hath not subscribed this. Where your majesty demands that the King of France, having any occasion to write for matter of grant, shall name your highness in this form and with this edition in French, Notre très cher fils Henry, Roy d'Angleterre, héritier de France.
Nor this I have not, brother, so denied, but your request shall make me let it pass.
I pray you then, in love and dear alliance, let that one article rank with the rest, and thereupon give me your daughter.
Take her, fair son, and from her blood raise up issue to me, that the contending kingdoms of France and England, whose very shores look pale with envy of each other's happiness, may cease their hatred in this dear conjunction, plant neighborhood and Christian-like accord in their sweet bosoms, that never war advance his bleeding sword twixt England and fair France. Amen, 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 amen.
Now, welcome, Kate, and bear me witness all, that here I kiss her as my sovereign queen.
God, the best maker of all marriages, combine your hearts in one, your realms in one, as man and wife, being two, are one in love. So be there twixt your kingdoms such a spousal that never may ill office or fell jealousy, which troubles oft the bed of blessed marriage. Thrust in between the paction of these kingdoms to make divorce of their incorporate league, that English may as French, French Englishmen, receive each other. God speak this amen.
Amen, 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 amen.
Prepare we for our marriage, on which day, my lord of Burgundy, we'll take your oath, and all the peers, for surety of our leagues. Then shall I swear to Kate, and you to me, and may our oaths well kept and prosperous be.
Thus far, with rough and all unable pen, our bending author hath pursued the story. In little room confining mighty men, mangling by starts the full course of their glory. Small time, but in that small most greatly lived this star of England. Fortune made him sword, by which the world's best garden be achieved, and of it left his son imperial lord. Henry the Sixth, in infant bands crowned king of France and England, did this king succeed, whose state so many had the managing that they lost France and made his England bleed, which oft our stage hath shown, and for their sake, in your fair minds let this acceptance take.